picture. Call us at 520-492-0748 or picturerockschooling.com. And on behalf of our entire team, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Picture Rock Schooling, heating and plumbing.
I'm Shanola Hampton. Every day, millions of people face hunger. Today, I will share with you some of their experiences. I'm stuck between paying for medications or paying for food. John from Maine. After paying my bills, I can buy groceries. It's sad to say, food comes last. Alice from Oregon. I thought pantries were for less fortunate people, but anybody could be less fortunate in a day or even a second. Claire from Virginia. The Feeding America network of food banks helps provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. No one should have to worry where their next meal will come from. Together, we can end hunger. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
A Cumulus radio station. You're listening to the flagship of Arizona Wildcats athletics. This is Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
Wait, what's the CNWT?
Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
David Amata.
Hey, that's Dragon Ball to you.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
And a great Wednesday afternoon to you. Hump Day, signing day, the national signing window. Can you keep up with all of this? I mean, in the last, 10 years, we've gone from February, like the first Wednesday in February being, and I don't know why it's always on a Wednesday. That's very curious to me that always seems to be on a Wednesday. But we go from the first Wednesday in February being kind of the day that everybody looked at when the high school football players would sign their national letters of intent to go to college, where they were going to go, where they were going to, quote, take their talents to the next level. Then a few years ago, right around the COVID time, a little bit before the COVID time, it got moved up to mid-December. So usually right around maybe the week before Christmas, which was kind of an odd time, but it was sufficiently maybe enough after the end of the college football season for most teams, kind of in the middle of the bowl year, that the beginning of the bowl cycle, that teams would announce their signing classes. And now we're up to December 4th, the first Wednesday in December, for what is known now as the signing period, because I think it actually lasts a few days. It's not just today. I think the actual signing window, or if you want to sign in this particular window, you have about 3 days to do it. Obviously, most of the kids that are going to sign are going to do so today. Now, we talked about this yesterday. So what was this going to be? How was this all going to work in this new era of college football? And what was this event that the Wildcats were going to have today? What was that going to actually entail? And, the reality of it was that it wasn't much different than any other signing day party that we've been to in the past. They didn't really announce the kids. I mean, I've been to some where they actually announce the kids inside the room there. I think the U of A has been kind of announcing the kids throughout the day on their various social media accounts that have committed to coming. And really, it's now more of kind of an advanced commitment. And I asked Brent Brennan this question, so what's the binding here? And we'll let you hear coming up here later in this hour what he had to say in terms of, okay, so did the kids sign something today that is binding? Could they decide to not come here if they don't want to come here? It's all still very cloudy about how this is going to work moving forward. But again, still an opportunity to celebrate decisions, at least initial decisions that these young men have made. And there were 19 that have made initial decisions. That's how I think I'm going to phrase it. Initial decisions to come play football at the University of Arizona. Now, this is the first actual class for Brent Brennan and his team. And he actually, in college football now you have a team. You have a general manager, Geiska Crowley. We got a chance to talk to him today. We may let you hear a little bit of that today. If not, we'll let you hear that tomorrow. Interesting just to kind of get a chance. I don't know that I've had talked to Geiska Crowley since he arrived here, so just getting his feel for what he does. I mean, he's essentially a GM, kind of like a professional GM, except that they don't, they're not recruiting kids that are going to sign, quote, contracts. They can't, like he phrased it, like these kids still have to choose us. We can go out and scout them. We can look at them. We can recommend kids. We can, but they still have to choose us. It's not like we're going out and signing kids to contracts, and it is kind of like that. But I mean, I guess it's the same as the NFL. Yeah, because the NFL, if you're getting free agents and all that, they got to choose you. But obviously, there's draft too process in terms of the initial talent in the National Football League. So they aren't choosing you; you're choosing them. But in terms of college football, it's still the kid's choice at all levels. Whether it's coming out of high school, coming out of the transfer portal, they have to want to come to you. So the GM has to obviously be the guy, the point person to evaluate and decide who do we want to go after, who do we want to chase, what kids do we want to chase. And so that's Geiska Crowley's role. Also got a chance to talk to Danny Gonzalez. Got a chance to ask him about the Corey Krosky Merritt situation. We may let you hear that today. If not, tomorrow. That's already up on our YouTube page. So head on over to our YouTube page if you want to hear that. And also got a chance to talk to Duane Akina. Now, pretty much, there's still, and we understand, there's going to be another press conference tomorrow that we heard from the head coach today. He indicated there will be another press conference tomorrow in which we'll kind of begin to chat about. Today was really about the kids and the recruits and that kind of thing. Tomorrow will be about whatever changes are going to be made. And so nobody really got into that today with head coach Brent Brennan. That'll be for tomorrow. We'll keep you abreast of when that press conference tomorrow is going to be. We did not carry today's presser live. We will likely carry tomorrow's press conference live. I believe, just kind of off the top of my head, I'm going down the list here. Most of the coaches were in the room today, except for one, and that was Dino Babers. Dino Babers was the only coach that I did not see in the room. I spoke with Danny Gonzalez. Bobby Wade was there. I think he came in a little bit later. Alonzo Carter was there today. Duane Akina was there today. And there's a very interesting dynamic with Duane Akina, because I think there's been some rumblings about what his future is going to be with this program, whether there might be retirement in the offing. But Duane Akina is very tied to a number of these recruits. I mean, and Brent Brennan said as much today that dads who have played, there's a couple of dads who have played for Duane, one who played here, David Hinton. We know all about David Hinton and the Hinton family. And I asked Coach about Deshaun's commitment today. And I've talked about Deshaun, having watched him play for the Falcons here in Tucson as a kid, as a little guy. And now he has a chance to come in here and play as a collegiate. That's one of the kids that's tied to Duane Akina. That, as Brent Brennan put it today, these dads are sending their sons here to play for Duane Akina. So I think that kind of tells me that Duane Akina is going to be here. Now, is it going to be in the defensive coordinator role? Is it going to be in some other role? Is he going to that remains to be seen. We don't know yet what the dynamic of whatever changes are going to be. But here's the thing. You got all these guys tied up in recruiting. You can't come in here we've heard all this. We need to blow up the entire offensive staff. All those guys need to be gone. Matt Atkins needs to be gone. Bobby Wade need to be gone. Josh Oaksby need to be gone. He needs to hire an offensive coordinator and let that guy bring in his own staff. Like, that's going to happen. Like, let's just let's live in reality here for about 5 minutes. You got all these guys tied up in recruiting. You can't just blow all these dudes out. You might lose half this class. Then what do you got for next season? Then you're really going to be behind the 8 ball, trying to put wins on the field. So are there going to be some subtle changes? I would think maybe some subtle changes, but I don't foresee anything real dynamic happening here in terms of changes to the coaching staff. Look, these are Brent Brennan's guys, and I think Brennan understands what he's got to do. I think he understands what's facing him, but I also think I also think he comes from the mentality that if I'm going down with my dudes. I'm going down with my fellas. We came in as a unit. If we can't get this done as a unit, we going to go down as a unit. Because all them dudes was in the room today, except for Dino Babers. He was the only one that was not there. Cullen Carroll, strength and conditioning, came up, introduced himself to me. He was there today. He was in the room. Chuck Cecil was in the room. I don't know if I saw, I'll take it back, I don't know if I saw Lyle Moevo today. I think he might have been the only other one I did not see in the room. Everyone else, though, was there today. So we'll find out tomorrow, according to Brent Brennan, what changes are going to be made. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. David, you listened to some of the press conference, your takeaways.
I think that it was very, very focused on the offense and defensive line based on the listing that I saw, and hearing Brennan's response to it. It's the best thing that we could have heard, especially after the conversation you and Glenn had yesterday, where Glenn said we need to get some movers. We need to get some earth shakers on both sides of the line, offense and defense. And I think they may have found a couple of those guys there. And again, I know people are going to look at the list and they're going to see, oh, look at this, another cropping of just 3-star talents, 3 stars. We keep saying it. It's a hard place to win here in Tucson, Arizona, when it comes to college football in regards to recruiting, in regards to prestige and all this other stuff. 3-star recruits are the bread and butter of this program. If Brendan can go ahead and get these guys to show out and be the kind of 3-star talents that we're used to seeing, then it should be a good recruiting class. But for right now, if it's just focusing on the offensive defensive line, I'm good with it, especially for considering if you're going to bring back Noah Fafita, he needs another starting left tackle because another one's going to the NFL draft. You got to be ready for that.
All right, so Arizona, we told you yesterday, according to On3, their recruiting class was 10th in the Big 12. They dropped to 11th today. 20 kids, 2 3-stars, and let me just make sure I have it this way. 2 4-stars and 18 3-stars in this class as it sits right now. 11th in the Big 12 and 53rd. So they've dropped a little bit there. I believe what we said yesterday was 52nd. So they dropped a spot on each side. Mm-hmm. So they dropped from a 12th to 11th in the Big 12 and 52nd to 53rd nationally. Now, the interesting thing about this is Brent Brennan's first class. If we're just doing comparisons, Jed Fish's, quote, first full class was that 22 class that knocked it out of the park. And that class, I believe, finished in the top 30. I think it was like 28th I was just looking at that. If you go back, On 3 did not exist as much. I think they were just getting started, so I don't know how. But going back, they rank, and we've been using them just because they really do a great job of organizing all of their stuff and making it easily accessible and readable. But that class, they had that class ranked 28th nationally. So Jed Fish's first class, 28th, versus Brent Brennan's first class, 53rd. And again, it's really the second class, but the first full class after being hired in early January for not the year coming, but the year following. So work to do. And we said it yesterday. There's work to do. They're going to have to really attack the transfer portal because, again, this is not, you really ideally, and I've said all along, you'd love to be top 40 in terms of in recruiting, top 45 at the worst. And this is a 53 class right now. So you're below where you want to be if you're the Arizona Wildcats. But it's a starting point, and it's better than where they were last year. So you gotta start somewhere. You got to get the kids. You got to get in some transfers, and you got to coach them up.
That being said, even though a program can go ahead and have a top 5 class, let's not forget Texas A&M, where they had one of the best recruiting classes you've ever seen, and they couldn't find any way to make it work.
Right.
The good recruiting class by ranking does not guarantee a good season.
No,
it does
doesn't.
not.
It doesn't. But it was kind of interesting, and we do this often. It was kind of interesting just to go back and look at that 22 class and see the guys' names on the list, and we'll talk about it. We'll just kind of go down through it here coming up in the next segment. We've got a couple things to get to today. Robbie Russo is going to join us from the Roadrunners. We'll talk some Tucson Roadrunners hockey. The guys have won 5 of their last 6, so starting to trend in the right direction. We'll get Robbie's thoughts on what's happening out there on the ice, and they're on the road this weekend. Seth Polanski is going to join us from the AIA. We'll get you set for high school football state championship Friday. Micah Mountain is in the state title game, so if you're going to be heading up, we'll chat with Seth about everything you need to know about Mountain America Stadium at ASU and what you need to be looking out for if you're heading up for the state championship game in Micah Mountain coming up on Friday. So we'll dive into that as well. Suns beat the Spurs but miss out on the Cup knockout round. We'll get into that as well. Kevin Durant hurt again. My gosh. How many times? How often?
It's like poetry. It's so that it rhymes, right?
So once again, no Bradley, no Kevin for who knows. Well, hopefully we'll hear from Bud and see how long or what he knew after last night's game in terms of how long that might be for Kevin Durant. 520-848-1290. We want your thoughts on this recruiting class. Again, Deshaun Hinton, one of the names that pops out, grew up here in Tucson. Brother was a walk-on at U of A. Dad played at U of A. I've told this story, and I'll tell it again. I told it in the press conference today. Deshaun Hinton. I watched him play as a youth here. I've not watched a ton of youth football, but I've seen maybe a handful of games over the last 10 years. 10 to 15 games as an impressive youth football player as I've seen here in Tucson. Deshaun Hinton. So we'll dive into all that. If you saw Deshaun Hinton play, I want to hear from you today. 520-848-1290. Cricket is getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. With pavement improvement work that started along Tucson Boulevard between 6th Street and Grant Road, travel will be down to 1 lane for both directions, each direction moving through on Tucson Boulevard between Grant and 6th Street. For your weather, 46 are overnight low and 74 mostly sunny tomorrow, 74 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Only at Lowe's, MVP's Pro Rewards members can get a volume discount on eligible orders as low as $1,500 $100. Discount on eligible products only and reflected in quote. Restrictions apply. See Pro Desk for details. MVP's Pro Rewards program subject to terms.
Tune in to DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290 Thursday afternoons to compete in the Miller Lite Pigskin Challenge, where you can win money by placing a bet on the right team this football season. More info at wildcatsradio1290.com.
Hey homeowners, are you ready to chill out and go green? Goodfellas Air Conditioning can help. Introducing our latest lineup of energy-efficient systems featuring the new R32 refrigerant. It's cooler, greener, and better for the planet. You'll enjoy lower energy bills and a smaller carbon footprint. Not a fan of change? Goodfellas has a surplus of reliable R410 systems available. Unsure about what system you have or have questions? Give us a call for a free inspection. Goodfellas Air Conditioning, keeping it cool, keeping it green, and always keeping you comfortable.
All the Who's down in Huson liked great deals a lot, but the Grinch who lived on top of Mount Lemmon did not. But he went to O'Reilly for the holidays to trade in his sleigh, and the price he got from his trade grew 5 times that day. This holiday season, come to the dealership even a Grinch can love. We're on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check us out at O'Reilly.com. Because at O'Reilly Chevrolet, we prefer that you visit us live. See us this holiday season, and together, let's drive.
Guys, it's finally here. Wendy's new salted caramel frosty. It's cold, salted, yet perfectly sweet, delicious, and it's at the top of Santa's Christmas list. What? Santa has a list too, you know. And he's a huge salted caramel frosty fan. Probably why he's so jolly all the time. The iconic frosty with a salted caramel twist? Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Salted caramel frosty flavored with other natural flavors.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare and you want out, you need to get the facts. Wesley Financial Group and its founder, Chuck McDowell, have helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshares permanently, and he may be able to help you too. Call right now. Chuck will send you a timeshare exit information guide free explaining how your timeshare works and all your options for cancellation. You want to call Wesley Financial Group, 800-761-0000. That's 800-761-0000. Once again, 800-761-0000.
2025 is bringing the biggest change to air conditioning in decades. New EPA regulations mean AC costs could rise by up to 25%. If you've been thinking about replacing your old AC, now's the time. Rightway is offering zero interest financing and a free furnace when you replace your AC this month. Don't wait till next year when prices go up. Call Rightway today for your free no-obligation estimate. Call 520-549-2697.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text TIP to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text TIP to 321-321. That's TIP to 321-321.
This is Jim Rome with your Rome Report. We have ourselves the penultimate college football playoff rankings last night, and surprise, surprise, people are angry. And you're going to be really shocked to hear this part. The ACC thinks that they got jammed again. Crazy, right? And you will never guess the last team in. I'm kidding. Of course you know who it is. How could it possibly be anybody other than Alabama? How could they possibly have an Alabama Invitational Tournament without Alabama, right? Even if they did lose 3 games, including an absolute beatdown by the 6-6 Sooners in Norman only 2 weeks ago. Here's where I probably owe an apology to the Nick Tater himself, because for years I called the playoff the Nick Saban Invitational. But apparently it really had nothing to do with Saban. It's just the Alabama Invitational. In fact, you get right down to it, it's actually the SEC, man. It is the SEC Invitational.
Need parts now? O'ReillyAuto.com can help. Need them fast? O'Reilly is fast. Whether you choose in-store pickup, same-day home delivery, or next-day home shipping, we've got you covered. Get more parts your way at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Your new Total Wine & More in Mesa has the largest selection of wines, spirits, and beers, plus totally low prices and friendly service from our helpful guides. With over 8,000 wines, 4,500 spirits, and 2,500 beers, you're sure to find your favorites and something new. You can even order delivery, in-store, or curbside pickup. Find what you love what you find, only at Total Wine & More. Now open at Superstition Gateway West, same plaza as Walmart. Drink responsibly, B21.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking, the list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Small talk. Nobody likes small talk. It's boring, mindless, awkward, empty, painful, hard, pointless, and dull. But we'll take it. Donate your small talk to foster care, because just talking about the 700 kids that enter the system every day can help the 700 kids that enter the system every day. Learn more at donateyoursmalltalk.org. Brought to you by Foster More.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number for you to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. National Signing Day in this new era, now December 4th. 3 days, I believe the kids have till Friday in this particular cycle to get into their letters of intent. Right now, the Wildcat class is ranked 53rd overall nationally in terms of on three. Again, much better than last year. That was 81st. You definitely don't want to be there. That's nowhere to be. 81st, that was the first class. Obviously, the class, again, hamstrung by the late changeover of coaching staffs. The previous year was a 42 class, which, again, that's probably about, you want to at least be in that realm. Like I've said, I'd prefer to be top 40, but at least top 45. So that was Jed Fish's last recruiting class, ranked 42nd, and that was on the heels of the 2022 class that was ranked number 28, and that's one of the best classes that the Wildcats have had in quite some time. And if you can get classes like that, you're going to win a lot of football games. You're going to win a lot of football games. Let's just go down for S's and giggles, David. Let's go down the names and the guys that committed in that class. We'll start with the guy at the top, Tetero McMillan. Turned out pretty good.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Best receiver in school history. So that was a win there. Keon Burnett. Thought that might be the guy this year, but injuries kind of torpedoed his season. So we still have not seen the Keon Burnett that we thought that we might get. Again, so when we talk about the injuries from this year's team, that was a huge one. That was a guy we thought was going to be a sufficient replacement. It's when I talked about a few weeks ago. It's not so much that you lost Tanner McLaughlin, an NFL guy, but you lost the guy you thought was going to replace Tanner McLaughlin, and that was Keon Burnett. So now you're down to the next guy after that. That's what this offense dealt with. Rayshon Luke is the next guy on that list. Speedy hasn't necessarily been the breakout running back that we thought. Ended up redshirting, suffered an injury this year, redshirting, so he'll be back next year. So now next year you're looking at, a Kedrick Risino and a Rayshon Speedy Luke, at least at the moment, as the roster is currently constructed, near the top of that running back room. That's a pretty, again, that's two good guys to start with. I'm fine starting with those two guys. But obviously running back's going to be a position that's going to be very plentiful in the portal. So I wouldn't be shocked if they bring in 2 guys at the running back position from the portal. Next on that list was Ephesians Prysock. Starter, very high upside guy, but one of those guys that decided to follow the staff and went to Washington. We talked about him yesterday. 39 tackles, 6 pass breakups, no interceptions this year for the Washington Huskies. He was a 4-star. So all these guys were 4-stars. Prysock, Luke, McMillan, and Burnett were all 4-star guys in that particular class. Sterling Lane, 3-star guy, 4-star guy, depending on what you were looking at. So he was a 3.5-star guy. Has played as a backup, but not a guy that's made a huge impact on your defense. Has shined at times in some games, but not a consistent shiner, I would say, from that 22 class. Jonah Coleman, obviously, we talked about him. 900-yard rusher here, 1,000-yard rusher this year at Washington. That was definitely, and a 3-star guy. A 3-star guy who came in, put in the work, and was able to have a pretty good career for himself in college football. Kevin Green transferred out. Did he play it all this year? That'd be an interesting one. I don't know that Kevin Green, wherever he transferred to, played it all this year. But that was a guy that got squeezed out by the numbers at wide receiver. Noah Fafita, obviously we know what he's done here. Great season last year, not so great season this year, but is probably going to be your QB1 going into next year. Jonas Avianaya, projected number 1 pick.
That was a hit.
Yeah, that was a hit. That was a 3-star guy, but the number 3 rated lineman in the state of Hawaii. That was a win there. Grayson Stovall, solid backup, started at least 1 or 2 games this season out of Chandler Hamilton. Good solid lineman who will be probably your starting center next year. Tyler Martin hasn't played. I'm not even sure if Tyler Martin is still on the roster or not. Isaiah Ward, obviously another guy that transferred out. I think he made I remember him making one. I think I remember him making a play last year, making a big play in one of the games last season. A.J. Jones, wide receiver, and has never been able to step to the forefront. Still on the roster, but hasn't hardly played. Deuce Davis, we talked about him yesterday. Transferred out, had a 1 good game this year at Washington before getting hurt. Probably would have been an impact edge guy had he had still been on the roster this year. Jacob Manu. We haven't even gotten to Jacob Manu. We've already gone through 10 guys.
Yep.
Jacob Manu, win. Absolute win.
Yes.
3-star guy. Absolute win. He'll be back next year, hopefully. You can build your defense around. How about this? 10 guys, and we're just getting to Jacob Manu and Takario Davis.
Based on the rankings that they had coming into that season.
Coming into that season. Takario Davis, 3-star guy. Projected to be a top of the draft board pick in the National Football League. Still needs to get better hands. But and Takario, I believe he's got the cover skills. It's interesting because we rate these guys. I think I rate the guys as I've seen them. What I put to, and I said it during the season, I don't know that I put Takario Davis in front of Christian Roland Wallace. I still think Christian Roland Wallace is one of the best cornerbacks I've seen here. I don't know that I put Takario Davis in front of him, but NFL scouts apparently see him that high. They know a lot more football than I do, but as far as I'm concerned, as far as my eyes have seen, I don't know that I would put him in front of a guy like Christian Roland Wallace who went undrafted. But we'll see. We'll see where Takario Davis falls on that docket. Javion Celestine, G7, hasn't been able to get on the field. 3-star guy, backup, probably number 3 on the depth chart, but hasn't been able to get on the field. Tyler Powell played this year, finally got on the field, contributed. Not at the top in terms of tight ends, but was a contributor. Played in pretty much, I think, all 12 games this year. Isaiah Johnson, that's a guy maybe you thought you'd have gotten a little bit more out of at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Got hurt before one of the games. I think it was the Houston game or the Texas Tech game, one of them home games. Got hurt in warm-ups, didn't play. Hasn't kind of given you what you thought he would be more advanced, but a guy that I think is going to be in the mix on that defensive line next year if he decides to stay out of Chandler. Jermaine Wiggins, defensive lineman, has not played much, if at all. Tai.
Yep. He had a pretty good sack against the Sun Devils this last.
He's had 2 solid seasons.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, for a guy that's, again, we're probably 19 guys in right now. He's been a pretty solid contributor for this team out of Mater Dei High. But you would expect that of a kid from Mater Dei.
Oh, yeah.
Kids out of Mater Dei, you expect that they're going to come in here, even if they're not highly ranked in terms of these services, that they know how to play some football.
Yeah, and I would have loved to have seen Tai and Deuce Davis been able to go ahead and really kind of combine as the 2 edge rushers on the outside for the U of A on this year's defense. But like you said, Deuce Davis went up to Washington, had himself a pretty decent year.
Jacob Reese, next on the list. I think he was the one, if I'm not mistaken, that retired because he had some injuries, and I believe he retired earlier this year.
Yep.
So Jacob Reese, now out of football. And Wendell Moy.
Mm-hmm.
Solid. Maybe not. I kind of had hoped that Wendell might advance to being a guy that could have maybe made a Big 12 list at this point. Hasn't maybe done that, but still, look, solid offensive lineman. For a guy that didn't have a lot of offers, was ranked with no stars by a lot of places. So again, Wendell Moy, a guy that you're going to definitely build your line around. He's going to be a key piece in that line next year. But I want to see better.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see better from Wendell Moy. So that was that class. That was that 2022 class. A lot of really good contributors and some pretty big stars.
And that doesn't even equate to the transfers that came on that class as well, because you had DJ Williams, Jaden DeLaura, Jacob Cowing, Hunter Eccles.
Right.
There were a couple of guys on there that ended up being day one starters for that season coming into the year.
Yeah. So that was the first official full Jed Fish class. And Brent Brennan's class is not there in terms of the numbers. So again, the guys they got, they're going to have to coach them up in order to try to get this thing moving back in the right direction. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. We're going to let you hear from the head coach coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. He spoke today. It was a long press conference. We may give you at least part of it today, if not all of it, in 2 different sittings. And so you'll hear him talk about kind of the process and some of these kids. There's a lot of, again, as you would expect, there's a lot of relationships. Heck, there's one kid they signed who Jed apparently offered a scholarship to the day he was born. So that's how far some of these relationships go back with some of the kids in this 2025 recruiting class. DK on the sports tip, cricket getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together, sponsored by O'Reilly Chevrolet. A possible collision for I-10 near the Keno Ajo ramp on I-10. Possible collision. We do have some slowdowns, and that is for the eastbound side of I-10 as you approach the Ajo Keno connection. Collision at Cole Bend 22nd Street with some slowdowns on Kolb Road at 22nd. And for your weather, looking at clear skies overnight, 46 the low, sunny, 74 tomorrow, and 74 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples has amazing deals on everything you need for the holidays, from custom holiday cards and photo gifts to laptops and gaming systems, even shipping solutions. And now save up to $350 on select computers. In-store only. Offer ends 12/28. Unwrap huge holiday savings at Staples.
What do you call an elf who sings? A gift wrapper. Yeah, it's pretty bad. But the sale we have during the Red Tag Sale is pretty good. So see us today at O'Reilly Chevrolet.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
When you donate a toy, we will donate a toy.
It's our annual gift back to our community.
We're collecting new unwrapped toys for Toys for Tots. And for every toy you donate,
we'll donate another.
For every dollar you donate,
we'll match it.
At Alaskan AC, we believe every kid should have a gift under the tree on Christmas morning. That's why we've partnered with the Marine Corps Toys for Tots once again.
Since 1947, they've collected over 670 million toys,
putting smiles on the faces of over 300 million kids. And your donations stay right here in town. You can stop by our offices or hand your donation to one of our polar bears when they are at your home. Alaskan AC loves having fun,
but we're serious about helping kids. So serious,
we're matching your donation. We'll donate a toy for every one you donate and match cash donations dollar for dollar.
Let's make sure every child has a Merry Christmas.
For our location or to schedule service, find us at alaskanac.com.
At Wildcats Radio 1290, we're not just radio. We're your source in Tucson for digital marketing solutions. We specialize in creating strategic and effective marketing campaigns designed to get results for your business. Whether you want to target a local, regional, or a national audience, we have the right solution for your business. Call the Wildcats Radio 1290 business line at 520-887-1000 and put Cumulus Digital Media to work for you.
All right, she's inside. Are you good?
Yeah. It's just, she's my baby girl, you know?
I do, and ceramic coating was a good choice.
Oh, she's beautiful.
Yep, I know.
Recon Auto Detailing. Enhance or restore your baby to her former glory with paint recondition, ceramic coating, paint protection, tinting, and more for full protection of your vehicle inside and out. New cars, old cars, we love them all. Recon Auto Detailing, 3829 North Oracle Road, Tucson. ReconDetail.com.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text TIP to 321321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text TIP to 321321. That's TIP to 321321.
As a veteran, I live with health impacts from my service. VA gives me exceptional care and helped me gain the best quality of life.
Get what you earned. Visit choose.va.gov. Not all veterans are eligible for the type or amount of benefits mentioned here.
This is Jim Rome with a Sports Minute, sponsored by Wendy's. The iconic Frosty with a caramel twist. It's got to be Wendy's. Terms apply, naturally flavored. The NBA Cup. The players themselves were not out there with intimate knowledge of the group standings or the potential ramifications of the different results. How do I know that? They said as much. I'm Jim Rome.
Guys, it's finally here. Wendy's new salted caramel frosty. It's cold, salted, yet perfectly sweet, delicious, and it's at the top of Santa's Christmas list. What? Santa has a list too, you know. And he's a huge salted caramel frosty fan. Probably why he's so jolly all the time. The iconic frosty with a salted caramel twist? Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Salted caramel frosty flavored with other natural flavors.
Whether you're ordering wings for the game, whipping up a 7-layer dip, or ordering pizza, there's something about football that makes you want to eat. And this football season, Uber Eats has the best deals on game day food. No matter what you're craving, from 2-for-1 pizza to buy one, get one wings, Uber Eats will be dropping new deals each week, all season long. Uber Eats, official on-demand delivery partner of the NFL. Order now. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Let's talk some hockey right now. The Tucson Roadrunners won 5 of their last 6 games. And as we get into the meat of the first part of this AHL season, pleased to be joined by defenseman Robbie Russo, back with the club for another season and off to a fabulous start. No one passes the puck better than Robbie Russo. 11 assists on the season to lead the club. And Robbie, appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us. What's kind of led to the resurgence here after a little bit of a slow start for the club over these last 6 games in which you guys have won 5?
Well, first off, thanks for having me. And then, we've been on a nice little streak here. We're getting our lineup going pretty good, and everyone's playing well.
So in terms of you, like which line are you on? Who are some of the guys you're usually out there on the ice with?
I mostly play with Artem Duda. We're a defense pairing, so I pretty much played the whole season with him.
There you go, outstanding. And obviously coming into the professional hockey realm out of Notre Dame, what was your college experience like? And what is like? Obviously, we know a lot about the school as a whole, but what's kind of the hockey experience like there at Notre Dame in terms of how it's viewed and how you guys are looked at as one of the teams there on campus?
Well, first off, it was a great experience there. Played with a lot of guys I'm so close with today. It's a great school to go to. The team supported really well within the community there. You get a lot of fans. The atmosphere of the games is really nice, so it was a great experience all around.
Chatting with Robbie Russo, defenseman for the Tucson Roadrunners. And Robbie, obviously, I believe the first time you played here was 2018, if that's correct?
Yeah, that is.
What kind of led you to wanting to re-sign with the now obviously Utah organization and come back into this particular franchise?
That's a good question. I had some familiarity with Plains and Potsy, who are still coaching here, and then within the organization there was some guys still around, so I was a free agent, and they called, and I thought it was a good place for me to be.
What have you liked? You mentioned your past relationship with Steve Potvin. What is it about Potts that you like as a coach?
He's real intense. Every day. I try to get the most out of every day. We practice pretty hard, so that's been great.
In terms of what you've learned from him, what are some of the takeaways from him that he's allowed you to maybe grow your game as a player?
That's a good question. I would say he's pretty big on the details. So just, through watching film, maybe things that you're not seeing out there, some tendencies like that. He really stresses that kind of stuff, and he's been great with it.
I mentioned, obviously, that you lead the team in assists. Have you always kind of seen yourself as a facilitator for other guys?
I think I have, yeah. Just try to get it to the guys who are skilled and then let them do their thing.
What's kind of like as you go back, when did you maybe begin to become that type of player? Was that something early on? Was that something that kind of developed in college? Or when did you kind of maybe become that guy that could set other guys up to get shots on net?
Probably started in college, and then once I turned pro, it kind of grew from there. You try to develop chemistry with guys, and get them the puck when they're in good situations.
Chatting with Robbie Russo, defenseman, I should say, for the Tucson Roadrunners. The guys will be on the road this weekend out of Westmont, Illinois. Is that a suburb of Chicago, Robbie?
Yes, it is.
Did you grow up going to a lot of Blackhawks games, and who were kind of your guys that you loved watching?
I didn't go to a ton, but when I was in high school, that's when they got really good. So I was like Taves and Kane in that era. So they were really fun to watch.
Do they have high school hockey in the Chicago area? Or did you play club?
There is high school hockey, but I did play club. That's a little bigger there. So that's what I did growing up.
How old were you when you first started playing?
When I first started skating, I was probably 3 years old.
Wow. Well, what kind of got you into it?
I don't really know. We went ice skating as a family once, and it just kind of took off from there.
Did you have brothers at all that played, or were you the only boy in the family? Or
yeah, only boy. No one in my family plays hockey, so it kind of came out of nowhere.
How have your family, your parents, kind of influenced you in the game?
Probably just through their support. You know, they took me to a lot of stuff, and they're still supportive to this day. So I'd say through that.
18 games in the National Hockey League. What was it like when you got your first call up? And what was that experience to kind of be on that ice and be in that environment?
It was exciting. I was also really nervous. I was with the Red Wings, and we played in Toronto, so it's a pretty big matchup. They flew out my parents. That was a lot of fun for everybody, and the game's kind of a blur from I don't remember too much from it, but I was excited.
Again, I like we talked about when you, I guess when you because you play defenseman and you don't necessarily get a lot of opportunities to score. When do your opportunities usually come? Is there maybe a situation where for you that's kind of common when you have those opportunities to maybe get a shot on goal?
Yeah, I would say, on a transition attack, when our forwards create a turnover, you can jump in the play and they can find you late. Usually those are, for a D-man, the best opportunities to score.
Chatting with Robbie Russo, defenseman for the Tucson Roadrunners. A lot of new guys that on the club this year that maybe fans are just starting to get to know a little bit. Tell me about guys like Igor Sokolov and Andrew Agazino.
Well, they're both great players. Those are guys that I definitely look for when I have the puck. They're both scoring a lot right now, and they're a big part of this team.
And obviously, Josh Doan's been back for a few games this year. What's kind of his influence in the locker room been like? A guy that obviously comes with a lot of cachet, has had a chance to go up and play with the big club, and has also played a number of games down here with this club.
Yeah, well, he's definitely popular around here, kind of hockey royalty in Arizona, but he's a pretty humble guy and works hard and a great player.
How are the guys kind of dealing with this transition with the National League club moving from Arizona to Utah? Is there much different in terms of, obviously you weren't with the club last year, but are there things that are different in the locker room or the day-to-day that you notice with the club now being in Utah versus in Arizona up the road?
No, I would say there's not really a whole lot different just because management and all the coaches are the same. So it's pretty much, they're running the same thing as they were when they were in Arizona, just further away now.
Outstanding. Who's that maybe young guy on this club right now that has kind of impressed you and that you would tell fans to kind of maybe keep an eye on?
I would say Artem Duda. He's a great skater and a really hard worker, and he's impressive.
Artem Duda. We'll keep an eye on him for sure. Matthew Villalta is back with this club again this year. Had you had a chance to work with him all in the past? I'm sure you faced him in the past, with various AHL teams. What's kind of impressive about Villalta and what he can do there between the pipes?
Yeah, I've never played with him before. This is my first year, but he's very impressive. He's pretty calm in net. He's great handling the puck, and then he's been great for us all year long.
There you go. Obviously, you guys got some games coming up here this weekend. What's kind of is it the way the schedule kind of works here, and then in the American League, you'll get some weekends, but you also filter in some weekday games. I know you guys had a slew of games last week with the midweeks thrown in there as well. How did you kind of feel the club came out of that in terms of the health?
Luckily, all pretty healthy, nothing major. It's always a little harder when you get added to weekday games. You want everyone coming out healthy, so we're lucky on that end.
It looked like, obviously, Calgary got off to the hot start, but you guys cooled them off a little bit with the 2 wins here in Tucson. What did you take away from that 2-game series that you'll kind of go into this weekend up at their place?
Yeah, we had pretty good success when they came down here. I'm excited to go up there because they're still in first place. They're a big team, they're fast, and they're pretty relentless. So a lot to handle and a lot to look forward to.
Are there places, like I said, mentioned you've been here, you've been with this club before here in Tucson. Are there places you like to frequent? What is Robbie Russo doing on his off time? Is there restaurants you like to check out here in town?
Around that La Encantada Mall, there's a couple of restaurants there that I've been to that are all pretty good.
Outstanding. All right. Well, Robbie, hey, continued success. We appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us. Looking forward to this weekend and you guys getting a couple of more victories against the Wranglers up there in Canada.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Robbie Russo, Notre Dame Fighting Irish hockey grad, back for a second stint with the Tucson Roadrunners, was with the club back for 2 seasons. Back in 18-19, that was obviously the 18-19 club that went to the semifinals. 19-20 as well, played 67 games in 18-19 with 6 goals. So has 8 career goals as a Tucson Roadrunner. Played the last 3 years in Utica, and hopefully maybe he'll get on the scoring side here very shortly as he continues his second stint with the Tucson Roadrunners. All right, 520-848-1290 is the number. We will have you on the phones in hour number 2. We are also going to talk some high school football with Seth Polanski at about 4:40. Get you set for the state championship, the Conference 4A state championship game coming up this Friday. Micah Mountain trying to win their first state title in just, I believe, their 5th school year, if I'm not mistaken, 5th school year. And they're already at the top of the realm in Conference 4A. We had a chance to take our show out there for It's Almost Friday Night during the season, and really looking forward to seeing what Pat Nugent's kids can do there when they get up to ASU this weekend. Right now, David Amata is going to tell you everything that's going on in sports here in Southern Arizona and around the world.
Wildcats Radio 1290. 2020 Sports.
Well, it was National Signing Day for your Arizona football team. Again, they showed a lot of players joining the Wildcats for the 2025 season. 20 players committing to the Wildcats today, many of which were on the offensive and defensive sides of the line. And Coach Brennan spoke on the importance of focusing on those 2 spots for next year's roster.
We felt like going through the season when we were going game in and game out to compete at a high level in the Big 12. We are going to have to continue to put time and resources into the offensive and defensive front. I felt like a lot of the teams that we played were bigger than us, and physicality being such a hallmark of who we want to be and such an important thing in the game of football, that's something that we had to aggressively address with this recruiting class, and that we will continue to aggressively address in the transfer portal.
Again, the Wildcats class right now still sits outside the top 50 nationally and now sits 11th overall in the Big 12. The college football playoff field has one more weekend to monitor before the field is set, but right now it looks to be a strong showing for the SEC and Big 10 in the second to last bracket of the year. The top 4 teams currently sit at Oregon, Texas, SMU, and Boise State as the teams with bye weeks, while ASU currently stationed at the 12th spot as the last Power 5 conference leader. The 5th through the 11th seeds are Penn State, Notre Dame, Georgia, Ohio State, Tennessee, Indiana, and Alabama. SEC and the Big 10 both hold full representatives each there. And despite trading for wideout Deontay Johnson at the deadline to boost their offense, the Ravens announced that they were suspending the receiver for a game conduct detrimental to the team. Again, reportedly, Johnson refused to check into the game against the Eagles as the reason for the suspension and will now miss their Week 15 game against the Giants, while Baltimore currently goes on their bye week. And I am Dragon Ball, a.k.a. David A., and that has been your 2020 Sports Update here on Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions reported Kolb and 22nd Street and Kolb Road. Also for I-10, a wreck on eastbound I-10 near Park Avenue in the median. Westbound I-10 near the Ajo-Kino connection. Another crash there also off in the median. Expect slowing for both directions of traffic on I-10 approaching Ajo-Kino. 46 and clear overnight, sunny, 74 tomorrow and 74 right now. And I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
With Progressive Insurance, you can make sure your family is well taken care of with life insurance. Protect your phones, laptops, and more with electronic device insurance. And cover your furry friends with pet health insurance. Visit Progressive.com. That's Progressive.com.
Get your backyard summer ready with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you want to dive in this summer, now is the time to visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. Ask about our 60-day pool. To be summer ready, First Choice is the only choice.
At Wildcats Radio 1290, we're not just radio. We're your source in Tucson for digital marketing solutions. We specialize in creating strategic and effective marketing campaigns designed to get results for your business. Whether you want to target a local, regional, or a national audience, we have the right solution for your business. Call the Wildcats Radio 1290 business line at 520-887-1000 and put Cumulus Digital Media to work for you.
So, you have approval to order more.
Oh, it's just me, guys. Why are you dressed like that? It's my polar bear costume.
I almost called the exterminator.
Just trying to drum up business for winter Alaska vacations. Since when are polar bears so short?
Gary, Alaskan AC doesn't have to do silly stunts. People all over town love our Alaska vacations.
Who else promises no breakdowns for a full year? Check this out.
Don't do that here.
Well, when I spin the sign outside, it looks awesome. I thought Wrecking Ron's office was pretty awesome.
Gary, I love your enthusiasm, but I don't think we need you dressed up in a polar bear costume to tell people about our winter Alaska vacations.
Everyone knows Alaskan AC does more than just tune up the heater.
We clean, tighten, calibrate, and polish the heater so it's good as new.
So good, we guarantee no breakdowns for an entire year.
Now take off that silly costume.
Okay.
And give it to William.
What?
You're more polar bear sized.
You've got to be kidding me. I'm not putting this.
Oh, and schedule now at AlaskanAC.com.
Hi, I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. Recently, Lerner & Rowe was named the second most influential law firm in the United States. Although we have offices in other parts of the country, Glenn and I both live here and raise our families here. We are your local law firm. No other law firm in the state comes close to the experience, reputation, and results as Lerner & Rowe. When you're hurt in a wreck and need a check, call the law firm that can get you the results you need. Call Lerner & Rowe.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8695. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-8695. That's 800-575-8695. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Discover Tamal season. Casino del Sol presents the 19th Tucson Tamal and Heritage Festival. Saturday, December 7th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Ava Amphitheater. And it's free and open to the public. Experience more than 100 delicious Tamal vendors from all regions, food vendors, and local live entertainment. Plus artisans, farmers markets, and the famous Best Tamal Contest. The 19th Tucson Tamal and Heritage Festival. Only at Casino del Sol, the soul of Tucson. An enterprise of the Pascua Yaqui Tribe.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We are Tucson's home for Arizona Wildcats football. From fall camp to the Territorial Cup, we bring you all the action of Arizona football. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
Wait, what's the CNWT?
Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
David Amata.
Hey, that's Dragon Ball to you.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Mount Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
Hour number 2 on a Wednesday, hot day. I'm so glad that you could be with us. Want to hear from you today, 520-848-1290. The signing period for high school football players open today for the class of 2025. The transfer portal opens on Monday. This is maybe the most interesting one to me that I saw in terms of transfer portal. Remember when Arizona played Oklahoma last year, and there was all the talk about how Jackson Arnold was going to be the guy next year for the Sooners, and I think he actually even started that game, if I'm not mistaken. Or at least I can't remember exactly if he started it or not, but they were talking about him being the next guy. And guess what? 1 year later, Jackson Arnold is in the transfer portal for the Oklahoma Sooners after a not so good 1 year as the guy in Norman, Oklahoma. 5-star recruit out of Denton, Texas. Began the year as a starter. Lost his spot. Later got it back. Sooners didn't have a great year. They only went 6-6. And he has announced that he is in the transfer portal. Had 12 touchdowns and only 3 interceptions in 10 games, but just was a little erratic. Played last year behind Dylan Gabriel. Appeared in 7 games last year, but hasn't worked out. And now he is in the transfer portal. It's funny because I just remember all the talk around him last year in that bowl game about him being the guy next season, and now he's on his way out.
Not everybody. Again, when the hype outranks the production, it always looks bad, but it could always also be just a fit situation too. Look, the main thing is don't start putting too many eggs into the baskets of these 5-star recruit kids and stuff like that, particularly when you're dealing with situations where, well, they got to take it over right away. Like even the program like Florida, who struggled mightily this season, everyone said, we got to put in DJ Lagway. He was the freshman SEC must-see prospect of the year. Kind of had a bad game, good game, bad game, good game. Nothing consistent. Again, sometimes it takes a little while for some of these kids to go ahead and really, get their footing in college, because everybody likes to talk about the ramp up of the speed of the game between high school or college to the pros, college football to the NFL. I think high school to college is just as fast, if not faster, just because you're dealing with guys that really, in essence, are playing because they want to play on the biggest stage. You might be playing against a guy in high school that's just there because, well, my dad kind of wants to see me play. I don't really want to be here, but my dad said I've got to sign up for the team. You got guys that aren't really that committed to it.
Well, and it's interesting because that's one of the things that Brennan talked about today. He's like you want guys that love it, man. You don't want guys that are going to get here and then they're not ready, they're not prepared for what practice is going to be like every single day out there. I mean, I started to ask him. I didn't ask him this question today because you remember he said last week when he was talking about Cam Scadaboo, he said that guy's a football playing fool. And I started to ask him today if he had any football playing fools in this recruiting class that he was bringing in, just to see if I could get a response out of him. But I did not ask him that question. Jackson Arnold did, in fact, he was the primary. He started that game last year for Oklahoma and threw 3 interceptions. Martell Irby, Gunnar Maldonado, of course, the one that went back almost all the way, and Genesis Smith. So there you go. That was the beginning. I guess you could call that the beginning of the end for Jackson Arnold. Was his start against Arizona through the pick 6 I think it was actually ruled a fumble return by Gunnar Maldonado after the interception, and he got it and took it for the touchdown. But that was him who played in that game. Threw for over 300 yards, but also threw 3 interceptions in that game.
Well, technically, if you want to put it all together, I mean, Jameis Winston threw for over 600 yards, but 2 of those were pick 6s the other way. So I mean,
exactly.
Yards don't really matter if you got the turnover problem.
Right. Exactly. So again, and that was they had some things that kind of happened underneath the hood at Oklahoma this year. Brent Venables fired our guy, Seth Luttrell. Seth Luttrell, another one of the former Mike Stoops assistants. I remember that was something we talked about last year. Seth Luttrell, I think they had just installed Seth Luttrell as the offensive coordinator at Oklahoma right before that game last year. They had given him that job. Well, he didn't even last to Halloween. He was fired after they lost 35-9 at South Carolina. And so Joe John Finley kind of took over and was the interim play caller. And so, yeah, there were a lot of moving pieces to Oklahoma under Brent Venables this year in a season that did not work out for them, much like it did not work out for the Arizona Wildcats this year either. 520-848-1290. The Suns beat the Spurs last night. Nice night for Devin Booker.
Book took it all the way to the cup. He looked off Wemby, kind of froze him just enough. Straightaway three off of the hand of Booker. Splash down. Book likes to look at the straightaway three, and why not?
Devin Booker and the Suns, they win, but they don't get into the cup knockout round. 104-93 was the final last night at the Footprint Center. 12-8 are the Suns. Devin Booker, 29 points, 9 rebounds. But Oklahoma City also won last night, as we anticipated that they would, at home against the Jazz. But I think it was the game, the win by the Dallas Mavericks over the Grizzlies, 121-116, which is the one that knocked the Suns out of a chance to go to Las Vegas and have some more fun in the NBA Cup. So I guess now they'll add the 2 games in. Well, I don't know if they've done that yet, if they've added up whatever the 2 games or the 2 replacement games now that they've been holding open this whole of a week of games where for the teams that did not make the Cup knockout run, they'll insert 2 games in there, 1 away and 1 home. So I'm not sure if we found out yet what those games are going to be.
Which, based on what you're getting in those matchups, those should be 2 winnable games, too. I mean, when you're talking about going into the NBA Cup situation, you're playing against 2 potentially top-end teams, at least 2 teams that are hot at the very least. I mean, again, the Bucks are kind of an outlier in that where they struggled mightily to start the season, but suddenly now the Bucks suddenly are the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference NBA Cup final. I don't know how exactly to explain that. But nonetheless, you go ahead and you get a bunch of these crews that aren't that hot right now or just not that good, and the Suns get 2 potentially winnable games. That might be better in the long stretch of things compared to being up in the NBA Cup. Because, again, what are you playing for in the NBA Cup? You're not really playing for much except for a couple maybe extra wins and an extra 50 G's? I mean, that's not much when you're talking about multi-million-dollar athletes.
An extra 50 G's. It'd be nice if an extra 50 G's just didn't mean that much.
For us, 50 G's means a lot. But for these guys, I mean, the bench warmers are probably like, hey, man, you guys got to win this game for me, man. You guys got to win this game. I need a new pool for Christmas, man. I need a new pool.
Yeah. Kevin Durant injured again. Jesus, like, how many times do we have to keep saying that? Kevin Durant tweaked his ankle, stepped on somebody's foot, and I believe that was early in the game, if I'm not mistaken, second quarter.
It was the first half, yeah, because he didn't come back in the second. Because they're saying it tightened up on him.
So he played 16 minutes, scored 13 points before going down. Shams Charania saying that this could be a 1 to 2 week ankle injury for Kevin Durant.
Which makes sense considering they did say it was going to be reevaluated in about a week or so.
Yeah. So that stinks. That stinks that Kevin Durant we've been talking about that Bradley Beal obviously is dealing with an injury. Yusuf Nurkic did not play last night. He's still out with his injury. So that's 3 guys. That's 3 guys that you depend on. Even still, the Suns are in second place in the Pacific Division, just a half game behind the LA Clippers and tied with the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors have lost 5 games in a row.
And yet they still made the cup final.
Yeah.
They still made it into the cups.
Just depends on as long as you don't lose on the Tuesday and Wednesday nights you're playing the cup. That's all that matters, right? You can lose on Sunday when it's not a cup game and you're good. That's what happened to the Cavaliers. Cavaliers have 3 losses, I think 2 of them came in the Cup. That's why they're not in it. They're not going to Las Vegas. I'm a little disappointed. I thought I might hop over to Vegas and see my boys play over there and spend some and maybe gamble some money or something. We are joined now by the third member of our crew. JW again has the day off, and we are here with Cricket. So, Cricket.
Sir, yes.
I think you just, how about this? I think you just bought Christmas presents for everybody in the Kelly family.
Oh, do you?
What happened here?
Why do you think that?
Because you what was that blanket you talked about yesterday?
The
TikTok blanket,
the viral
faux
blanket or something.
What's it? The bunny TikTok bunny blanket.
Yeah,
I think we were looking at the wife and I were looking at that.
Oh, did you look at it?
We looked at it.
What'd you think?
And it looks very comfortable.
Looks nice,
absolutely,
right?
It looks very comfortable. I'm like, well, yeah, we might. I was like, so we were thinking we might like get this for everybody. It was only I think it was only like $35.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not an expensive gift.
Yeah, I know. I did see that it wasn't that expensive.
Right.
But yeah.
So I think we might get that for everybody in it. We're definitely gonna we're at least one person we know I think is gonna get that. I think we're gonna get that from my niece Shay.
Oh, how old is Shay?
She's 23, and so she's an outdoors person, and so we thought, that might be something that she would like. But then we started thinking about it. It's like, well, heck, we could get this for all the. We have a lot of younger kids. Like my younger brothers have kids that are under 5. So it's like maybe we'll get everybody one of these like fancy blankets that they can put on their bed and snuggle up in. And it's 30. Like I said, it's only $35, so it's not an expensive gift. And we got to buy like 10 gifts. So
there you
go.
Oh, okay.
So
should buy stock.
Nice job, Cricket.
Yay, me!
You just bought Christmas for the entire Kelly family.
I kind of love it. Made it kind of easy, right?
That right? Yeah. Exactly. See, you got any gifts over? Oh, by the way, Dragon Ball.
Yes.
I just went out and bought my own beer, so you can just like I'll let you present it to me.
I told you they didn't ship it any further than Texas. I was gonna get it once we get to Christmas.
I just went out and bought something that I like, and then so you can present it to me in the next hour. So
I knew my dad was right. I should have just presented you with some San Miguel beer and then just been done with it. That should have been it.
There you go. Dragon Ball lost a bet. His Steelers lost to my Browns while you were on vacation. And so he owed me beer, and he hadn't produced.
He wanted specific beer, and it has not been shipped further than Texas. It is an East Coast beer that has not. Even Total Wines and things on the 2 different spots I went to saying that they don't have it any further than Texas.
I went over to Total Wine last night. I was like, I'm going to go in and see what they got. And they did not have it. So.
It was not out of the sense of I didn't want to make up for the fact that I lost the bet. I was not a sore loser. I tried.
Mm-hmm. He tried.
I did try.
Short of going to Texas.
He did try. All right. So thank you, Cricket, for buying gifts for everyone. So
You're welcome.
Write me the check. So I can pay for it.
So then you're all good.
Exactly. Cricket get you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions that are reported River Road near Campbell on River to the east of Campbell. Some westbound slowing on River approaching Campbell. Also reported Ajo Highway and Kinney Road. Westbound I-10 near Keno Parkway. That collision not blocking. And a crash at Colbin, 22nd Street. Some freeway slowing on westbound I-10 approaching Valencia to just as you pass Irvington Palo Verde. Eastbound I-10 slowing, approaching the Ajo Keno connection. 46 and clear overnight, sunny, 74 tomorrow, and 74 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by eBay. We all got a thing. Yes, even you. If you love fashion, car parts, trading cards, whatever you're into, it's on eBay. So go find the thing that keeps you up at night. eBay. Things people love.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Our Black Friday week of savings has been extended into December. Right now, every set of tires is on sale, and you can stack on manufacturer's rebates for even more savings, up to $180 more. We've also got popular maintenance services at up to 50% off to get you road trip ready for your holiday travel. And beyond the amazing low total tire prices, we'll include Jack's Plus Pack, a dozen tire-related services like touchless mounting, computerized balancing, new rubber stems, including the reset for tire pressure monitoring systems. Plus, you'll also get a lifetime of tire maintenance, rotations, rebalancing, and tire repairs. Jack's Plus Pack is a $249 value, and it's included with your new set of tires. We'll even throw in a free wheel alignment check if you want it. And it's all at the guaranteed lowest price. Get ready for holiday travel at any of Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care's 14 area locations. Call, stop by, or visit us online. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, we're here to get you there.
William is one of millions of Americans who uses GoodRx to save on the cost of their prescriptions.
My oldest daughter, Camilla, 2 days old, she had to have open heart surgery. All of a sudden, she's on 5 different medications. It adds up at the end of the month. Me and the pharmacist got so tight. She said, GoodRx save you a lot of money. Saving that extra $200-300 a month. We're able to do all these extra activities, so it puts less stress on our household, and it puts less stress on our pockets.
Download the free app or visit GoodRx.com and start saving today. GoodRx user compensated for their time. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppables bottle shake. And now a sniff solo. Nice. With Downy Unstoppables, you just toss, wash, wow, for all-day freshness.
Are you the decision maker in your company? There's a better option for a corporate card and spend management system. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card that tracks and verifies your expenses for you, saving your team valuable time and your business money. With Ramp, you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. And now get $250 when you join Ramp for free. Just go to ramp.com/free, ramp.com/free.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
When you donate a toy,
we will donate a toy. It's our annual gift back to our community.
We're collecting new unwrapped toys for Toys for Tots.
And for every toy you donate, we'll donate another. For every dollar you donate, we'll match it.
At Alaskan AC, we believe every kid should have a gift under the tree on Christmas morning.
That's why we've partnered with the Marine Corps Toys for Tots once again. Since 1947, they've collected over 670 million toys, putting smiles on the faces of over 300 million kids.
And your donations stay right here in town. You can stop by our offices or hand your donation to one of our polar bears when they are at your home.
Alaskan AC loves having fun, but we're serious about helping kids. So serious, we're matching your donation.
We'll donate a toy for every one you donate
and match cash donations dollar for dollar. Let's make sure every child has a Merry Christmas.
For our location or to schedule service, find us at alaskanac.com.
I'm Taylor Bisciotti with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. The NFL has suspended Texans linebacker Azeez Al-Shaair for 3 games without pay for an illegal hit on Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence Sunday. Lawrence suffered a concussion, and his status for Week 14 is still to be determined. Elsewhere, Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin announcing edge rusher Alex Highsmith is expected to play Sunday against the Browns. Highsmith has missed the last 3 games with an ankle injury. Jets interim head coach Jeff Ulbrich says Aaron Rodgers will remain the starting quarterback moving forward and gives the team the best opportunity to win. Rodgers himself telling the Pat McAfee show, "We get paid for 17 weeks, so if you're the starter, you want to play all the games." The new draft order entering Week 14 has been released and still has the Giants holding the number 1 overall pick, followed by the Raiders, Jaguars, Patriots, and Panthers at number 5. Check out NFL.com to see the entire first round. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare and you want out, you need to get the facts. Wesley Financial Group and its founder, Chuck McDowell, have helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshares permanently, and he may be able to help you too. Call right now. Chuck will send you a timeshare exit information guide free explaining how your timeshare works and all your options for cancellation. You want to call Wesley Financial Group, 800-761-0000. That's 800-761-0000. Once again, 800-761-0000.
Guys, it's finally here. Wendy's new salted caramel frosty. It's cold, salted, yet perfectly sweet, delicious, and it's at the top of Santa's Christmas list. What? Santa has a list too, you know. And he's a huge salted caramel frosty fan. Probably why he's so jolly all the time. The iconic frosty with a salted caramel twist? Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Salted caramel frosty flavored with other natural flavors.
As a veteran, I live with health impacts from my service. VA gives me exceptional care,
and help me gain the best quality of life.
Get what you earned. Visit choose.va.gov. Not all veterans are eligible for the type or amount of benefits mentioned here.
At Susan G. Komen, we believe that ending breast cancer needs all of us working together. Because if you've just been diagnosed and don't know where to turn, we've got you. If you can't afford the treatment you need, we've got you. And if you are driven to honor the loved one you've just lost, we have a place for you here. Because of you, we're supporting those who need help today while tirelessly searching for tomorrow's cures. Visit Komen.org and be a part of our Susan G. Komen community today.
Small talk. Nobody likes small talk. It's boring, mindless, awkward, empty, painful, hard, pointless, and dull. But we'll take it. Donate your small talk to foster care. Because just talking about the 700 kids that enter the system every day can help the 700 kids that enter the system every day. Learn more at donateyoursmalltalk.org. Brought to you by Foster More.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. Paul in Phoenix checks in on the text groove. He says, hey, don't forget that Paul in Phoenix would like one of those TikTok blankets as well. So we got to put Paul on I guess we'll have to put him on the Kelly Christmas list now as well for one of those TikTok blankets. If you have a TikTok blanket, give us a call. I want to hear about it. I want to hear what you love about it. 520-848-1290. And if it's a great Christmas gift, 520-848-1290. We mentioned Devin Booker last night, 29 points in the Suns' win over Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs, 104-93. Devin Booker, the ninth youngest player to score 15,000 points in the National Basketball Association. LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, Carmelo Anthony, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Tracy McGrady, and Wilt Chamberlain. How about that? You got to go all the way back. Wilt Chamberlain outside of Michael Jordan, Wilt Chamberlain is the only, quote, old dude on this list to score 15,000 points or be in this age range of being among the youngest to score 15,000 points.
Yeah, currently Booker sits tied for 154th most points scored with the current president of the G League, Sharif Abdur-Rahim. So even then, the guy that he's matching up with right now in terms of total points scored, not that much of an old-timer. Just a couple guys ahead of him, obviously. You got Jimmy Butler, Dick Van Arsdale, but guys that he's passed already on the all-time scoring list. You got to look at former U of A Wildcat Richard Jefferson, Mike Bibby, Monte Ellis, even guys like Nikola Jokic, even though Jokic is coming up pretty quick on that 15,000-point mark, especially with the season he's having. He might have a fifth MVP coming.
Big honor there for Mr. Devin Booker. Let's hear from Devin after the game on being in this club with the likes of Bron, Katie, Kobe, Wilt, MJ, Melo, Giannis, and McGrady.
Just when they put your face up and, the display with the 15,000 and the fans started cheering and standing, what did that mean for you?
It means everything. That's the biggest part of it. And I said it earlier today, impressed that, just all here in one franchise and, how much I've been through, how much I've just grew up, here. So everybody in the city see me come in as an 18-year-old kid and, have always fully had my back, fully supported me, even when we were getting our head beat in. So just trusted me, believed in me, and, now we're turning around a bit.
The only thing I had was seeing Kevin go down is one thing, and then for you to go on to win the game, just maybe speak to both of those deals.
Yeah, obviously tough, it's impossible to replace what he brings to our team. Even just his presence around the team, not even having him on the bench in the second half was tough. But, we still fought. They came out, punched us in the face to start the half, and, we just stuck with it, weathered the storm, and, you know, it was a growth moment for us.
But congrats on 15K.
Thank you.
I'm just curious, out of all the shots that you've made, the buckets you've gotten, do you have a favorite one on the way to 15?
I'd say probably either the bubble or MSG. Yeah, MSG last year.
Book, when you look at just the injuries that you guys have dealt with so far, nothing severe, but just like a lot of in and out so far, what was the key that you can take from last year and kind of that same situation and yet building continuity, building cohesion through like the stagnant nature of it?
Yeah, just understanding that, you know, everybody goes through it. All teams at some point through the season have to deal with it. I think it's a special time for more opportunity for other people, you know, to get a chance, because, you know, you never know what's going to happen later in the season or even the playoffs, to where, you know, you just have to figure it out. You know, no one talks about, you know, injuries after a season ends.
To that point, though, with Brad did have one or two that he missed early in the year, but how much did that first, 2 weeks help where you guys really got some time on the court together to start the year as opposed to last year when Brad was dealing with his back?
Yeah, more time out there, the more things we figure out, the more situations that we're put in that we learn from. So, you know, we have a super intelligent team. I know I keep saying it, but, you know, top to bottom, you know, so it's fun to make adjustments, change our play style, having to do that on the fly when, you know, we're missing players.
All right, that was Devin Booker after last night's game, in which he became one of the youngest players in NBA history to score 15,000 points. Kevin Durant did play in that game, although he left with an injury after stepping on the foot of Julian Champagne King or something?
I don't know if that's Champagne Poppy. What? I didn't know Drake actually played in the NBA.
Julian Champagne in the second quarter. So the record now with Kevin Durant in the lineup is 11-2. He's going to be out for probably as many as 2 weeks. The record without him is 1-6. So that's where the Suns stand now at 12-8 on the season, 1-6 without Kevin Durant, and they will not have him for at least 2 weeks.
And this could be a pretty rough stretch to be without him, because you've got a 4-game road trip starting up here on Thursday, starting with New Orleans, Miami, Orlando, and Utah. Then you get back home for 3 games against Portland, Indiana, and Detroit. So that could be the full maybe 2-week time frame that he's out. And then maybe if you're lucky, you get him back for the Monday game against Denver in Denver. So that could be a huge opportunity to get him back. So some tough competition there in the stretch that there might be without him. But if you can get him back by that 2-week period, that's when things are going to really start, you know, picking up in terms of business.
Well, I'm sure ABC wants him back for Christmas Day.
Oh, yeah. I think that could be a great Sunday Christmas gift for a Suns fan, is trying to get Kevin Durant back healthy.
I got to see, when did the Cavaliers come to town? I think it's later in the season.
You got Monday,
March
January 20th.
Well,
that's Monday they go to Cleveland.
Yeah, March 21st. So at least they'll be, well, that would be the first weekend of the basketball tournament? Probably. So I probably won't be able to go see them anyway. All right, 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. We got an NBA play for you tonight. Thank you, Fred Flintstone. Well, we won on our play last night, Dragon Ball. Cavaliers, best team in the East against the worst team in the East in the Washington Wizards. The play was take the Cavaliers and lay the 16.5 points, and that came out pretty good. I believe the Cavaliers, if I'm not mistaken, won by close to 30 points, 118-87. So what's that, 31 points if my U-High math is correct? Yes, 31 points. I know. See, I can do math in my head. They won by 31, so we won on that one last night. That was a 5-star play on the BetQL app. Tonight on the big board at the Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook, we have got the Celtics, who are the second best team in the East, playing the Pistons, who actually are not the second worst team. The Pistons have 9 wins. How about our guy, Bernie Bickerstaff? Bernie. JB. Bringing back dad here. Bernie Bickerstaff. That tells you how old I am. JB Bickerstaff. He's got the Pistons with 9 wins and on the edge of the play-in tournament.
I mean, hey, good on the Pistons for being. Look, that looked absolutely like the worst place to potentially try and rebuild something. Like, I actually gave more credence to the Wizards turning things around this season than I did the Pistons, just because I didn't know where they were going. Give a lot of credit to J.B. Bickerstaff and his crew for doing something with that Detroit Pistons squad.
The East does not look very good this year. You've got
the East is terrible. The East, let's not beat around the bush. The East is terrible. Just going over it right now. The entire play-in tournament is teams below 500.
4 games under 500.
Yeah,
for 3 of them.
Some of them.
Yeah.
And the Pacers, for as good as that team is on paper, they have been abysmal to the point where Tyrese Halliburton said that they have an embarrassing product on the court right now. So we're airing dirty laundry in the public if we're out in Indiana right now.
9-13, 3 straight losses for the and giving up 119 points per ball game are the Indiana Pacers. So yeah, that's not good. So you've got the Boston Celtics and the Detroit Pistons, who are just a half game out of the play-in right now at 9-14. All those other teams are 9-13. But the play is to take the Celtics and lay the 12.5 at home tonight against the Pistons. Boston has won 6 straight games at home, and they've won 10 straight games over the Pistons. So take the Celtics, lay the number at 12.5 tonight. That is your BetQL best bet for tonight. Also, we got a pretty good game on the college front tonight. UConn, back from their disaster in Maui, gets to play Baylor tonight at home. That should be a good one as Baylor continues their gauntlet of a schedule.
Not a good start for UConn, though. They're down 5-0 in the first 3 minutes of the game. They're 3 minutes in, and UConn hasn't made a shot yet.
Okay. Well, that's not good. What is going on there with them? They just, okay.
Not to mention, you also got the Big 12 Big East battle today, Iowa State and Marquette.
All right. Iowa State, Marquette. So the play in that game, we do have a best bet in that UConn game. It was UConn minus 2.5, but the game has already started, so I don't know if you can still bet that 2.5. It may have changed at this point, but if you want to jump on there and take whatever the line, because sometimes they still give you a line after the game has started. I'll see if I can find that out for you and give that to you. When we come back, we're going to chat with Seth Polanski from the AIA, one of my favorite organizations, and find out what's going on with the state championship game this Friday night involving Micah Mountain. It's DK on the Sports Tip. Cricket is getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together. New collision reported at Prince and Oracle and Prince Road. Collisions that are clearing at Ajo and Kinney and Ajo Highway. River Road east of Campbell, there were some earlier slowdowns at River and Campbell. Also Cole Road and 22nd Street. And also, we've still got some slowdowns for traffic on I-10, eastbound I-10 approaching Ajo Kino, westbound I-10 slowing, approaching and passing Valencia. 46 and clear overnight, sunny, 74 tomorrow, and 72 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together.
This report is sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone. Starting stronger starts at AutoZone, where they've got battery solutions in the form of free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes them America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Escape the ordinary and indulge in a world of excitement at Park Place Mall. Discover endless possibilities with over 100 stores, restaurants, and entertainment options. Join them for the monthly Kids Club, Yappy Hour, and seasonal events. From fashion to food, it's all at Park Place Mall, where you belong.
DK on the Sports Tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
They've locked the door. You cannot get into McHale Center now. A safety move by the university.
The stories we talk about the athletes who met each other and then eventually got married because all of the weight training used to be done at McHale.
Do we feel bad for the football players? They don't have that interaction anymore?
Just to clarify, you're asking if we feel bad for football players maybe not being able to get dates easily? Is that the question? Because I don't think that's a problem. I don't think it's a problem at all.
No, we're in the era of NIL, DK.
Wildcats Radio 1290.
The garage is more than a place to park your car. It holds prized possessions, and for most, it's a bustling entryway to the home. That's why LiftMaster designed the first ever opener with a built-in wide-angle camera and two-way audio, so you can see what matters and secure what's inside. Ensure your family and prized possessions are secure with a reliable garage door opener that's built to last and powered by MyQ for smartphone control. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit kaisergarage.com to learn more.
You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
So, you have approval to order more.
Oh, it's just me, guys. Why are you dressed like that? It's my polar bear costume.
I almost called the exterminator.
Just trying to drum up business for winter Alaska vacations. Since when are polar bears so short?
Gary, Alaskan AC doesn't have to do silly stunts. People all over town love our Alaska vacations.
Who else promises no breakdowns for a full year? Check this out.
Don't do that here.
Well, when I spin the sign outside, it looks awesome. I thought Wrecking Ron's office was pretty awesome.
Gary, I love your enthusiasm, but I don't think we need you dressed up in a polar bear costume to tell people about our winter Alaska vacations.
Everyone knows Alaskan AC does more than just tune up the heater.
We clean, tighten, calibrate, and polish the heater so it's good as new.
So good, we guarantee no breakdowns for an entire year.
Now take off that silly costume.
Okay.
And give it to William.
What?
You're more polar bear sized.
You've got to be kidding me. I'm not putting this.
Oh, and schedule now at alaskanac.com.
Wildcats Radio 1290 and Goldberg and Osborne, the injury lawyers, are proud to support the University of Arizona basketball radio broadcast on Wildcats Radio 1290. Listen on your smart speaker, on your phone, or on your radio. Get all the info at wildcatsradio1290.com/listen.
Make sure you download or update the Wildcats Radio 1290 app. We've got the entire state covered like no other sports radio station in Southern Arizona. Plus, when you have the app, you can cover U of A sports with Wildcats Radio 1290 anywhere and everywhere you go and out of town, too. The mountains, the beach, working out, or maybe even...
Oh, no. Turn that off.
Download or update the Wildcats Radio 1290 app today and never miss a moment of sports analysis. Well, maybe an occasional moment. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text TIP to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text TIP to 321-321. That's TIP to 321-321.
This is Zach Gelb with the Sports Minute, sponsored by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Please gamble responsibly. The College Football Playoff Committee got it right last night, placing Alabama to make the College Football Playoff over Miami in the penultimate ranking. As for if Alabama will actually make the bracket on Sunday, though, they'll need SMU to take care of business in the ACC Championship game over Clemson. Because if SMU wins, then Alabama is in, but if SMU loses, the Mustangs should still make the playoff over the Crimson Tide. I'm Zach Gelb.
Arizona football fans, picture this. You bet on your favorite player to score the first touchdown, and he throws an awesome block so his teammate can score instead. If this happens, BetMGM wants to give you another chance at the end zone. With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second instead. That's right. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. Everyone knows the most exciting part of football is the score. With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you have a chance to keep the fun going after the first player crosses the goal line. Place a first touchdown scorer wager today. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Must be 21 years of age or older to wager. Arizona only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
DK on the sports tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. We were kind of joking about that Baylor-UConn game, and it was 7-0. Baylor jumped out to the quick lead. So the line on that went from -2.5 UConn to +2 UConn. Now it's 9-6 Baylor, so it's gone back to -2.5 UConn. So you can still bet on that over at the Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook if you would so like. That's our best bet for today. All right, let's talk some high school football. It is state championship weekend for the big schools, and once again this year, the Southern Arizona community will have a school present up at ASU for the 4A game on Friday. Last year, it was Canyon Del Oro, and they came away with a win. And this year, their rivals from Micah Mountain will try to do the same thing. Seth Polanski from the AIA joins us. Seth, this is always an exciting, really 2 weeks, because you had some of these small schools that played for their state titles last weekend, and we were happy to see our kids from Push Ridge Christian get a win in 3A. And now you've got the big kids getting ready to play in the big stadium up in the Phoenix area for a chance to win 4, 5, 6, and the open division. That's a lot of games you guys have to manage.
It sure is. But you know what? We've been doing it a number of years, and we got it down to a science. So we're always real happy to have the games on, and always great to give those kids a championship experience too.
All right, so obviously we've got 4A going on. That's a 4 o'clock kickoff coming up on Friday. What are maybe some of the important things that fans need to know that are going to be coming up from Southern Arizona about navigating in to see this game on Friday night?
Sure, that's really great. We do have the information out there on our website right now, azpreps365.com. It's at the top of our site. I'll also be putting out on our social media channels at azpreps365. It's a document that kind of goes over everything. It has ticket links. It has broadcast links. But if you are coming to the game, the most important thing to do is either come via the highway from the north. So just come on up. Head and then head in from the school from the north, from the I think it's the one I get confused too with all the highways that we have up here. It's the 202 into Scottsdale, because there will be a lot going on the ASU campus that weekend. So the parking for the football stadium, if you come off the 202, is going to be the closest to you, the northeast corner of that football stadium. Plus, there is the Tempe Festival of the Arts shutting down downtown, right next to the stadium, just to the west. So don't come from the west. Come from the north if you can. And but also we have the light rail system here in the Phoenix metro area. Cheaper to park than at ASU. $15 at ASU. We don't have any say of that. That's the parking facility there. They keep 100% of the profits. AIA doesn't get anything. So we encourage people. We have the light rail. If you can, go park up and go to Mesa. Get the light rail schedule. There's a bunch of stops in Mesa to the east of Tempe, and you park for free. And then it's just a couple bucks per person round trip. And there's a drop off right there at the stadium.
There you go. And obviously we mentioned 4 games in 2 days. So you have 2 games on Friday. 4A and 5A will play Friday. 6A and Open will play on Saturday. I'm interested, what's the field like when they get to that last game? I have to imagine, is it chopped up a lot for the Open division once you guys get to that final game, with there being 4 games and basically less than about 30 hours?
Well, by that final game, yes. But I got to tell for the Southern Arizona game, for that 4A game, it's
it'll
actually
be
in really good condition. It's going to be perfect because they haven't played there in 2 to 3 weeks on that field. And the ASU grounds crew are so meticulous about their field. They are always babying it and taking care of it. So it's always going to look great. They actually get mad at us when we don't clear the field quick enough Friday night after the second game so they can get it ready for Saturday's 2 games. So yeah, there'll be some divots, there'll be some marks for the Open, but that first day it'll play really good.
Seth Polanski joining us from the AIA, the Arizona Interscholastic Association, handling a bunch of state championships this weekend. And last, and of course, Seth, this was the second full year of girls flag football. We just completed those games the last week before Thanksgiving. Are you guys surprised at all about how quickly this has taken off here in Arizona?
We are not surprised at all. That's the reason why the sport was actually given sanctioned status right from the get-go. So when we have a sport that's just coming about, and we call it emerging, we'll give it a few years as a non-varsity sport. So there's no official AIA championship for it. So that's why we just have boys beach volleyball that just started this year. There's only 18 schools doing it. The girls beach volleyball, which started about 12, 13 years ago, only had about 10 schools participating. And it's grown to where it is now, where it's a sanctioned sport because we have about 80 or so schools competing in 2 divisions. So we knew flag football was going to be huge right from the get-go, from the feedback that we got from the schools when we were observing it. When they came to us and said, we want to add it, and then we sent a crew out to go watch the games in the Chandler district, we're kind of the leaders in this. So we watched them for a couple of years, and they were saying, look, we have all these schools that want to come on board with us. So in December of 2022, when we announced we were adding it and going right to sanctioned status, we had 32 schools on board. By the time we started playing in the fall of 2023, 55 schools were on board in 2 conferences. Starting this year, we had 101 schools in 3 conferences.
What do you think the growth will be going into next year?
It's still rising. It's going to slow the pace. Obviously, we're not going to double year after year, but we expect a few more districts here and there to kind of add it. We're hoping a few down in the Tucson area. We are hoping for a couple more school districts up here in the Phoenix area. And then, to really top it off, the buy-in would be if some of these smaller rural schools, which may only have 1 high school in their district, and it could be the only high school within a 30-minute radius, to kind of pick it up and have, their own region kind of in their neck of the woods, which would play into our conference tournament.
We're chatting with Seth Polanski from the AIA. Seth, one of the other things that's kind of cool about, this girls flag football is just the support that it's gotten from the Cardinals, the support that it's gotten from television. I think I heard Dave Pash calling games on the side. How critical and how cool has that been that those entities have really bought into this?
It's actually been really huge. When we decided to do, it's a collective we. It's more of the Arizona Cardinals, Arizona's Family, the TV station up here that's broadcasting them, and the production company Bitfire, which kind of is handling all the production for the games. It was a big deal. We knew it right away because when we announced it, several other state associations immediately called the Cardinals or Arizona's Family and say, how are you doing this? How is this going to happen? And the first 2, and I like to joke about this, the first 2 associations that kind of called us, and it was actually the first 2 NFL organizations. It was the New Orleans Saints and the Cincinnati Bengals were the first 2 to call the Cardinals and say, how are you going to do this? And so I'm thinking like, look who's jumping in the frail race. Who dat and who day? They won in already. So we're very pleased with the way it all turned out, and we're gonna have a wrap up. We'll talk about it at our national meeting in Chicago next year, and I'm sure the Cardinals will share their side of it at their meetings that they usually have in the wintertime.
And as we shift to the winter sports schedule, any new cool things to kind of keep an eye on some of these winter sports like soccer and basketball and wrestling and any of those? And obviously girls wrestling continues to grow here in the state of Arizona as well.
Yes, it does. And well, you mentioned all three of our winter sports, so it's always a big deal with that. But I think the biggest deal with two of those specifically is soccer and basketball. We've added an open division or an extra open division in each of those sports. So now soccer is going to have an open division like basketball and football does for the big schools, and basketball has added what they call the Copper division. So it's an open division for the small schools, the 1A through the 3A. So you typically at that level will see a lot of our Native American communities in the Northeast kind of, do really well and make their way down to Veterans Memorial Coliseum for semifinals or championships. And sometimes they win, sometimes they don't. And I think there's a big push from them to kind of showcase that, hey, we can play with anybody in any conference. And I think, something like in some of the schools in your area, the Gregory School has always been very strong in 1A. And so, they could play up and beat some of these 2A teams, I think, from what I've seen. Can they beat the 3A? Well, they're going to be able to prove themselves in this new Copper division that we have coming up.
Interesting there. And what's the future going to be for the open division on the football side? I know there were some changes made this year, with 4A kind of getting out of that. Is it still a viable thing moving forward?
It's still viable because people still want it. They still want the best of the best. And it really kind of resonates nationally where we get those 8 finalists. It probably will be tweaked. We have our football conference committee meeting right after football ends. So next week, we have a board meeting next Monday. There'll probably be some informal discussion about it then. And then on Wednesday, we actually have the football committee getting together to discuss any potential changes they may want to come to it. So it's really because the AIA doesn't control who makes the open, how many teams make the open, what the qualifications are. It's actually our committees and our conferences. So the football committee, if they come to any resolution at this meeting, they're going to make a proposal to our executive board to change this up. And so if whatever proposal they can come up with and it looks good and the board approves it, us as the AIA staff, we will then put it in place.
David Hines retiring. What has he meant to that organization, and have you found his replacement?
Of course, we found his replacement. It's probably someone here in Arizona. We probably speak to them all the time. But the process just opened for that. David Hines has been. It's kind of hard to say. He's been so much at so many levels. His entire 48-year career in education has been in Mesa and Phoenix. So he's really been a huge voice for this community, and he's really been helped along the way, not only when he was associate executive director to Harold Slemmer and then took over for him, but also we had gentleman Joe Paddock, who was from the Amphi district for a number of years, who served as David Hines' associate executive director, who was just in our office today because he still helps with our student leadership team. And so it's given more of a voice to Southern Arizona, which was really important from what we heard over the years. So, and David was very receptive about making sure that everyone had a voice around the state. And that's probably going to be one of the biggest things. But he's really proud of just overseeing the biggest, just kind of jump in everything related to technology. The dashboard that all of our athletic directors log into to handle all the business, it's a one-stop shop. Other states will have places to pay, one place to pay the refs, one place to pay this, one place to put rosters, one place to do something else. We have a one-stop shop for everything ADs need. We have our Brain Book, which is our opioid concussion education courses. We've added, I think something like 6 sports since he took over. So it's just been a huge jump for the association as a whole under his leadership. And he's not going away. We're still going to pick his brain and have him work some of our tournaments.
All right, just don't hire that guy, Frankie Acosta. He's bad news. I'm just kidding. We love Frankie down here in Tucson.
Oh, that's good because he loves Tucson.
Seth, we appreciate you joining us. One more time, let folks know where they can get tickets for the 4A title game.
GoFan, I believe it's gofan.co, or you could click on the article. It's at the top of azpreps365.com. It will have a link that will go to the GoFan page. You just select your game, select your tickets, and we'll see you at the door.
All right, Seth, have a great weekend up there.
Great. Thanks so much.
Seth Polanski from the AIA. 4 state championship football games happening. 2 on Friday night, 4A, 5A. Micah Mountain from Southern Arizona is in the 4A title game for the first time in school history. And so looking forward to, we went back-to-back in terms of Southern Arizona for the 3A. Sabino winning it last year, and then Push Ridge Christian Academy winning it this year. And if you missed our interview earlier this week with the kids at Push Ridge, head on over to our website right now, wildcatsradio1290.com, and you can listen to that interview. Last year, CDO winning the title, and this year, Micah Mountain against AZ College Prep, kickoff 4 o'clock on Friday. Dragon Ball, telling you everything that's happening in sports here in Southern Arizona and around the entire gosh darn world.
Wildcats Radio 1290. 2020 Sports.
Well, the Suns managed to come away with a win over the Spurs in their final game of group play in the NBA Emirates Cup group stage, but a big focus on the game was the loss of Kevin Durant. Head coach Mike Budenholzer gave his update on Durant's injury after the contest.
Yeah, I mean, I got the update. I think he stepped on somebody's foot there in transition, and I think at halftime stiffened up. So, we'll have to evaluate him again in the morning, see how he feels coming out of it, see what's, how he does overnight. But I don't really know a whole lot more than, the report, kind of at halftime, at the end of halftime, and so he's out.
Again, they will go ahead and reevaluate Durant in a week, according to reports. And also, despite the win, the Suns will not be heading to that knockout stage of the NBA Cup. And looking at that field, the West shapes up. The Mavericks set to battle Oklahoma City after the Thunder took the Suns group, while the Warriors and the Rockets will go head-to-head in the other quarterfinal matchup in the West. In the East, you have the Hawks taking on the Knicks, while the Magic will go up against Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Bucks as the top seed on the eastern side of the NBA Cup. And all eyes are on Juan Soto this offseason. The all-star slugger looks to be, quote, eliminating teams from his free agency race, according to agent Scott Boras. A number of teams from the Yankees, Mets, Red Sox, Blue Jays, and Dodgers have all reportedly made offers of up to over $600 million in the past few weeks. The 26-year-old earlier this week said that they will be looking to go over all those offers over the next 10 days and appears to be narrowing down his options with free agency around the corner. And I'm Dragon Ball, a.k.a. David A., and that will do it for your 2020 Sports Update here on Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. Collisions that are reported at Ruthroff and I-10, Prince Road, and Flowing Wells, with some backups on Flowing Wells at Prince, Ajo Highway and Kinney, and also River Road and Campbell, northbound and westbound slowing River Road and Campbell. 46 and clear overnight, sunny, 74 tomorrow, and a 71 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's new Salted Caramel Frosty. It's time for Wendy's new Salted Caramel Frosty, the only cold, creamy treat you'll want all season long. Because if it's the iconic Frosty with a salted caramel twist, gotta be Wendy's. Limited time only at participating Wendy's. Salted Caramel Frosty flavored with other natural flavors.
NFL Thursday Night Football plays here.
Love gets the shotgun snap, fakes the handoff, throws left, caught by Jaden Reed, gets a block, runs across the 5, into the end zone. Touchdown Packers. Second of the night for Jaden Reed.
This Thursday, the Green Bay Packers taking on the Detroit Lions.
We're in playoff football right now. That's where we're at. We're in December, and our schedule says that. And this is the type of stuff that you live for.
We are Tucson's home for the National Football League. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Miami in desperation mode. I'm Joe Ostrowski here to help you beat the books with BetQL. Miami hosts New York this weekend with the pro football season hitting the home stretch. Both teams are facing the possibility of a lost season, but Miami still has some life. The BetQL model thinks there will be points in South Florida. BetQL has over 45.5 as a 5-star best bet. I'm Joe Ostrowski. Bet smarter and beat the books. Download the BetQL and BetMGM apps today.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare and you want out, you need to get the facts. Wesley Financial Group and its founder, Chuck McDowell, have helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshares permanently, and he may be able to help you too. Call right now. Chuck will send you a timeshare exit information guide free explaining how your timeshare works and all your options for cancellation. You want to call Wesley Financial Group, 800-761-0000. That's 800-761-0000. Once again, 800-761-0000.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Our Black Friday week of savings has been extended into December. Right now, every set of tires is on sale, and you can stack on manufacturer's rebates for even more savings, up to $180 more. We've also got popular maintenance services at up to 50% off to get you road trip ready for your holiday travel. And beyond the amazing low total tire prices, we'll include Jack's Plus Pack, a dozen tire-related services like touchless mounting, computerized balancing, new rubber stems, including the reset for tire pressure monitoring systems. Plus, you'll also get a lifetime of tire maintenance, rotations, rebalancing, and tire repairs. Jack's Plus Pack is a $249 value, and it's included with your new set of tires. We'll even throw in a free wheel alignment check if you want it, and it's all at the guaranteed lowest price. Get ready for holiday travel at any of Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care's 14 area locations. Call, stop by, or visit us online. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, we're here to get you there.
When you donate a toy,
we will donate a toy. It's our annual gift back to our community.
We're collecting new unwrapped toys for Toys for Tots.
And for every toy you donate, we'll donate another. For every dollar you donate, we'll match it.
At Alaskan AC, we believe every kid should have a gift under the tree on Christmas morning.
That's why we've partnered with the Marine Corps Toys for Tots once again. Since 1947, they've collected over 670 million toys, putting smiles on the faces of over 300 million kids.
And your donations stay right here in town. You can stop by our offices or hand your donation to one of our polar bears when they are at your home.
Alaskan AC loves having fun, but we're serious about helping kids. So serious, we're matching your donation.
We'll donate a toy for every one you donate
and match cash donations dollar for dollar. Let's make sure every child has a Merry Christmas.
For our location or to schedule service, find us at alaskanac.com.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We have the Arizona Wildcats covered on game day like no one else. With the biggest pre- and post-game coverage in the Big 12. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
Wait, what's the CNWT?
Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
David Amata.
Hey, that's Dragon Ball to you.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names. David Scott Kelly.
Hour number 3 on a Wednesday. So glad you could be with us. DK on the Sports Tip. Hump Day, signing day. Wildcats announcing their class, which right now, again, is ranked by On3, is 53rd in the nation. Not really where you want to be. Not where I want them to be, for sure. I mentioned I would like them to be top 40, no less than 45. So some spaces to make up for this recruiting class, but some great opportunities here with some of the players who are in this class. We're going to hear from Brent Brennan coming up for you in about 10 minutes or so, in about 5:20-ish or so. We'll hear from Brent Brennan. We'll get both segments of his press conference in over the course of the last portion of our show today. So one last chance for you to get in at 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. We were talking earlier in the show about some of the kids in that famed 22 class that was number 28 nationally. And we'll update you on one player we've talked about, and that was Rayshon Luke, who has entered the transfer portal. So Rayshon Luke will likely not be returning to Arizona for what would be was that third season? This was his third year? Yeah, fourth year. So it would be a fourth year. He still has 2 years of eligibility remaining. But again, as we were talking at the top when we kind of went through that list, a guy that came in here with a lot of fanfare, but just never really translated consistently to being able to get carries, had that one really good game at Washington State last year when he busted the 40-yard run, got hurt at the end of his freshman year, and did not play much after that, and then got hurt again this year, made the decision to redshirt. We understand that the injury went into his decision to redshirt. Saw him a few weeks ago on campus with a big cast on his leg, and obviously he will enter the transfer portal now and look for another opportunity. So running back is obviously going to be a position that the Arizona Wildcats are going to have to attack in the transfer portal because right now Kedrick Reesino would be the only back you've got coming back with significant carries in that realm. And again, the list, just kind of going through the guys that are in the portal. I mean, just names from all over the country. Big schools, tight end Juice Farine from North Carolina State, Cyrus Allen, wide receiver from Texas A&M, edge rusher Kelby Collins from Florida. I mean, just guys from a lot of big programs. Stanford's starting quarterback, Ashton Daniels, is in the portal or heading into the portal. It doesn't officially open until next week. North Carolina quarterback Connor Harrell is in the portal. Alabama wide receiver Kobe Prentice is in the portal. So there are good players from a lot of good programs. And I think that's something that you've got to keep in mind. There's good players from good programs all over the country that are getting in the portal, looking for that next spot where they want to play college football. Now, in terms of the state of Arizona, let's just go down that list real quick here. The top player in Arizona, Jamar Beal Goins, is ranked 89th nationally. So that kind of gives you an indication of where Arizona high school football is. The top 5 guys in terms of their national ranking are 89, 180, 189, 368, and 489. So that's not a lot of high-level respect on Arizona high school football coming out. Your top-ranked players in Arizona, the schools they're going to, this Jamar Beal Goins out of Desert Edge, headed to Texas A&M. Cooper Perry, wide receiver out of Scottsdale Notre Dame Prep, signs with Oregon. Ryland Dillard Allen, a safety out of Mountain Point, signs with Washington. Logan Powell, offensive lineman, interior lineman out of Brophy Prep, signs with Wisconsin. That's the one. Again, now this is one you want to keep an eye on. Logan Powell, younger brother of Tyler Powell, tight end for the Arizona Wildcats, chose not to come here. 4-star guy, decides to go to Wisconsin. But again, a guy to keep an eye on. Relationship there, potentially a bounce back. That's what you look at. Who in this group could be a bounce back if things don't work out? Logan Powell, an interior offensive lineman, could be one of those guys you keep an eye on. Cree Thomas, also out of Brophy Prep, signs with Notre Dame. Then you get to some guys, some familiar guys we know. Gio Richardson is headed here out of Basha. They're going to be playing in the state championship game again in, I believe they're in the Open. He's signed. So actually Arizona has signed 2 higher prospects in this class out of the state than ASU. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Gio is 6. He's coming to Arizona. Desmond Roebuck out of Marana High School. He's 7. He's going to Washington. Deshaun Hinton, who we talked about at the top of the show, he's 8. Scottsdale Saguaro, he's coming here. And then ASU's got the 9th prospect, quarterback Michael Tollefson out of Mountain Point. He's going to ASU. 10 is Garrett Martin out of Saguaro, and he is headed to Kansas. So some good prospects in the state. Luke Juego, the quarterback out of Higley, he is signed to come here. They're excited about him. You'll hear Brent Brennan talk about Luke Juego. He's going to be one of 5 players entering school at the break. And so he'll be here on campus for the spring semester and for spring ball. Roman Fina, the next highest ranked player in Southern Arizona after Desmond Roebuck. Roman is 19th, and he is headed to Duke, obviously, to join his brother, Bruno, who is already down there, the sons of John Fina, the legendary South Point Catholic Lancer, Arizona Wildcat, and Buffalo Bill. And then Caleb Jones, the defensive lineman from Mountain Point, who is coming to the University of Arizona, 3-star guy. So those are the top guys, the top 20 anyway, in the state of Arizona. And the Wildcats have, I believe, 4-2? 4-2 there over, maybe 4-3. 5-3, I'm sorry. 5-3 over ASU in that respect.
One thing about these grading classes and things like that, so we keep talking about the 2022 class was the 28th national, third in the Pac-12 at the time, and just overall one of the best classes the Arizona Wildcats ever had. Do you recall the follow-up class in regards to rankings? Again, it's a couple of good players in that 2023 class, but
42,
7th in the pack. And then after that, in the first year where Brennan gets the job and Jed takes off, 81st nationally, 16th in the Big 12.
Right.
Now, considering that the Big 12 is no longer 12 schools, so we got to figure out exactly what exactly it is, a Big 12, Big 16, Big 18.
Yeah.
You go from being the 7th best in your conference to a new conference, and you're potentially one of, if not the worst graded recruiting class in your conference. Then this year, you jump up to 11th from 16th. You go from 81st to 53rd nationally. Those aren't necessarily unimpressive numbers in terms of jump. Brennan apparently has a lot of good connections now that he's officially settled in. That's a big improvement compared to where it was just this last year. So I'm willing to go ahead. Okay, seeing that improvement, Brennan may know what he's doing with a couple of these kids compared to where he was, where he's kind of, busy setting his nameplate on the desk and they'll trying to make an introduction to people while he's unloading his, his onboarding, resume and everything else like that. Now that he's got a full year to really kind of be the one to be in charge of recruiting, you see there's a bit of a difference there in terms of what this is looked at nationally in terms of grading scale.
Of the that 81 class, the class this year, really the only one, that in terms of high school that played a lot. Obviously, Michael Salgado Medina was the primary holder and punter on this team, and Matthew Ladeau played a little bit on the offensive line. They had talked about Etowah Akunde might get into some games at some point, but never really played much. He might have played a little bit, but most of those guys in this current class, 24, are redshirt possibility, or they probably all redshirted because Jonah Price didn't play either at safety. So all those guys will have redshirt capabilities coming in to their second years here at the University of Arizona. So that's where we stand. That is where we stand with signing day today and with the portal opening on Monday. It'll be interesting to see kind of where all that goes. We'll let you hear from the head coach coming up straight ahead. DK on the Sports Tip, Cricket getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. Collisions at a reported wreck in Oro Valley, Oracle and Hardy and Oracle. Also reported Ajo and Keno, the Keno-Ajo connection ramp. La Choya and Curtis, and also Flowing Wells and Prince with some backups on Flowing Wells southbound at Prince Road. Clear skies, 46 overnight, sunny, 74 tomorrow, and 70 now. And I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by PayPal.
This season, the PayPal app has amazingly low prices for holiday shopping. Get exclusive cashback offers in the app. And with the PayPal debit card, PayPal stacks 5% more in the monthly category of your choosing on up to $1,000 in purchases. Don't just pay, PayPal.
Tune in to DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290 Thursday afternoons to compete in the Miller Lite Pigskin Challenge, where you could win money by placing a bet on the right team this football season. More info at wildcatsradio1290.com.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Our Black Friday week of savings has been extended into December. Right now, every set of tires is on sale, and you can stack on manufacturer's rebates for even more savings, up to $180 more. We've also got popular maintenance services at up to 50% off to get you road trip ready for your holiday travel. And beyond the amazing low total tire prices, we'll include Jack's Plus Pack, a dozen tire-related services like touchless mounting, computerized balancing, new rubber stems, including the reset for tire pressure monitoring systems. Plus, you'll also get a lifetime of tire maintenance, rotations, rebalancing, and tire repairs. Jack's Plus Pack is a $249 value, and it's included with your new set of tires. We'll even throw in a free wheel alignment check if you want it, and it's all at the guaranteed lowest price. Get ready for holiday travel at any of Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care's 14 area locations. Call, stop by, or visit us online. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, we're here to get you there.
All the Who's down in Husan like great deals a lot, but the Grinch, who lived on top of Mount Lemmon, did not. But he went to O'Reilly for the holidays to trade in his sleigh, and the price he got from his trade grew 5 times that day. This holiday season, come to the dealership even a Grinch can love. We're on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check us out at O'Reilly.com. Because at O'Reilly Chevrolet, we prefer that you visit us live. See us this holiday season, and together, let's drive.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. Babbel is designed with you in mind. From expert-created lessons to conversational video units and even live classes, you can personalize your Babbel experience to be exactly what you need to really learn a new language more easily. Go ahead, set a goal for yourself. Accomplish it with Babbel. Try Babbel for free. Go to babbel.com. That's babbel.com.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and clear skin, count me in. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Westwood One presents Today in Women's Sports, sponsored by Allstate. Over in Division I college soccer, the top-seeded Duke Blue Devils have advanced to the semifinals of the NCAA tournament. They defeated Virginia Tech last weekend 1-0 to clinch a spot in the College Cup for the first time since 2017. Duke's fifth-year senior Katie Groff scored the lone goal in the victory.
This has been so special. I remember leading up to this game, realizing that this was my 4th time in an Elite Eight, but it feels good to be on the other side of it. And last year we were below 500, and so to come back for a 5th year, I was saying I want to end on a better note. And we've already done that, but obviously the job's not finished yet.
The Blue Devils won the ACC regular season title, but lost to rival North Carolina in the conference tournament. Now they'll face the Tar Heels again on Friday in the NCAA semifinals. With Today in Women's Sports, I'm Amber Theo Harris on Westwood One.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, you know to check you have a full tank of gas first before road tripping through the desert.
Empty? Seriously? Maybe I can walk.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Maybe I can't.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. We're going to hear from the head coach, Brent Brennan, signing day today. First, though, I want you to hear from a young man who actually flipped at the last minute into this class for the Arizona Wildcats. His name is Kason Brown. He is a safety, 3-star safety out of Big Lake, Texas, because everything is big in Texas, including the lakes. He was supposed to go to Texas State, but he flipped to Arizona. And at his signing day ceremony at his high school today, Reagan County High School, he talked about why.
Well, Coach Akina over there, he's the safeties coach and the defensive coordinator, and he's been in the game for a long time. He's a legend. And then over there, I just felt like it's the culture's better. I think it's just a better opportunity for me being in a Power 4 school.
So there you go. Kason Brown choosing Duane Akina. So now that's 3 guys, 3 defensive backs that we know for sure who chose Arizona because of Duane Akina. I don't think he's going anywhere. We'll find out tomorrow, but I would think he's not going anywhere.
Well, again, he was initially just supposed to be a defensive supervisor or some kind of he was somewhat involved, but he wasn't directly coaching, and now all of a sudden he's the defensive coordinator. Yeah, no, his factor into this coaching staff continues to grow and grow and grow. I think that it would be foolish for anybody to think that this Wildcats program would not benefit from having Duane Akina involved in some capacity.
All right, let's hear from the head coach today, Brent Brennan, on this 2025 National Signing Day class.
All right, good afternoon. First of all, I want to thank everybody for coming today. It's a great turnout. Lots of people in the room that really, really care about Arizona football. So it's great to have you all here. It's really, really cool. Today's such a special day. I think signing day is one of those amazing things that for all these young people, for their whole life, they've been thinking about these opportunities and what this is going to be for them. And so we're really excited to talk about the players that have joined us today. And then we're also excited about kind of what they mean for our program going forward. I also know that there's been so much conversation about the season and how we did, and quite honestly, we all know it was not good enough. And that starts with me. And everything is in a constant process of evaluation. Every step of the way, a lot of that work has already begun. There's been a lot of speculation and conversation about staff changes. That stuff is going to be discussed tomorrow. I will be available for the media tomorrow. But today is about these players. And I want today to be a celebration of the young people that have chosen the University of Arizona and to be a part of our football program. And we're really excited about all of them. And I really think they all have a chance to really contribute in meaningful ways. Some of them this next year and then some of them down the road, right? But I feel like we answered some real areas of need, and we're going to be very, very active in the transfer portal, which opens up on Monday. So there's all kinds of work to be done for our football program, and we are excited about where we're going, and we've made some great progress with the retention of our current roster. So let's go. What do y'all got for me? Come
on. As far as the conversations with recruits this year, how much did you guys discuss NIL and rev share and all that?
So I think in the current climate of college football, that conversation is happening with every player that is either being retained or that you're recruiting. And it's 100%, 100% of the time that conversation is happening.
Brent, how would you describe how binding this signing is now under the new form of the new realm of college football that we're in? And are kids signing today? Are they obligated? Is it easy for them to get out of these signings if they decide they don't want to come here?
I don't know that I know the exact answer to that, and it's a good question. I think Once they sign their financial aid agreement, it is supposed to create a so-called recruiting ban. That means that other people are not supposed to actively recruit them once they are part of or once they sign that financial aid agreement. How binding those things are, I think time will tell. We are obviously in this constant state of evolution in college football right now, and you see how, I think the NCAA, college football, coaches, recruits, everybody is there's a lot of new landscape, and everyone's kind of navigating it as we go through it.
Coach, how important was it for you to recruit both lines, especially the offensive line? It looks like you took multiple players in the class.
Yeah, absolutely. We felt like going through the season, when we were going game in and game out, to compete at a high level in the Big 12, we are going to have to, continue to put time and resources into the offensive and defensive front. I felt like a lot of the teams that we played were bigger than us, and physicality being such a hallmark of who we want to be and such an important thing in the game of football, that's something that we had to aggressively address with this recruiting class, and then we will continue to aggressively address in the transfer portal.
Hi. Two questions, actually. One, can you talk about
Y'all
Easy?
the double questions, man.
Yeah. Can you talk about Easy, the wide receiver, and also what's the expectation on how much these guys can contribute right away? Maybe some can and some a couple more years. Can you talk a little bit about your expectations for how soon these recruits can contribute?
Okay. First of all, we are really excited about Isaiah Mizell and Gio Richardson. One of the elements that we felt like we needed to add to our offense was some more speed, and I think that part of it is answered with both of them. Obviously, they can both fly. But I also like the toughness and the playmaking ability they bring with it, right? Sometimes when you're evaluating prospects, they have speed, but maybe they're not natural pass catchers, or they have speed, but they're not dynamic with the ball in their hands. Both of those guys can do both. You've seen, Gio playing defense also in this, state playoff run they're in. So both of those guys are really, really dynamic, and we expect both of them to impact our football team this season. And I'm excited because they'll be here for spring practice. So they'll have an advance on the learning, and Coach Wade is one of the best wide receiver coaches I've ever been around. And I think I'm uniquely qualified to say that because I've been a receiver coach in college football my whole life, and he does an incredible job with that. And so I think those kids are going to develop really quick in that. And I think adding them to the group that we have returning, we're going to love how that thing looks in the fall.
Excuse me. Sorry. Just catching my throat. When you were talking with the recruits as the season went on and toward the end and having those last conversations to ensure that they were still here, how did you address the way this season went and that's not what future ones will be, and the importance of them being part of that?
That's a fair question. When you start recruiting a young person, right, you're starting a relationship. You're starting to build trust over time. And I really think that recruits choose people in the recruiting process. And so we continue to lean on the value of the University of Arizona education, on the quality of people here, on living in the city of Tucson, like things that are obvious and easy for them to see and feel when they were either here on their official visit or here unofficially, to see the crowds on game day and what the game day experience is like. All those things impact their decision-making process as they're trying to decide where they want to go to school. And so when we weren't having success in the season, there was still a lot of trust and a lot of history there. They chose to come play for the coaches on this staff because they believe those coaches are going to help them develop into high-level NFL quality players. And that didn't change just because we didn't have success.
What was your focus and goals for this signing class, and do you think that you addressed all the needs that you had?
I'll answer the last part first. We continue to have needs for our football team that we are going to aggressively fill and address over the next month, with the opening of the transfer portal on Monday. And then, what was the first question? Sorry.
What was your overall focus and goal with this signing class?
So we love multi-sport athletes. I think you're seeing more and more specialization these days. A lot of these kids play more than one sport. You see a lot of football and basketball, football and track, football and baseball. We think that's that helps them develop their overall athleticism. It also gives us an opportunity as coaches and evaluators to see them compete in a sport other than football. You know, sometimes you notice maybe a little bit more athleticism on a basketball court. Like, oh, I didn't know he could do that. You know, one of the Big Josh today showed me a video of one of our offensive line commits throwing down a reverse two-hand dunk. I was like, okay, let's go. So we're always trying to find those things. We're also looking for players that, you know, come from high-quality high school programs so that they're used to high-level expectations of performance and dedication and commitment. And I think we answered a lot of that with this group.
In terms of recruiting, obviously the Big 12 state of Texas is an area you guys want to get into. How successful do you think you guys did that for this recruiting class? And what was the feedback when you guys were in Texas?
You know, it's interesting. The calendar has changed so much. So the only chance I was able to get down to Texas was working a camp in the summertime. With the new NCAA, with the new schedule the NCAA put out, the month of December is now a quiet and a dead period where you know, they used to have, you know, 2.5 weeks of, or 2 full weeks of really pounding the pavement, aggressively recruiting and getting out. And that's when you were in the family's living room and you were at their house and talking with their parents and all that stuff. Like, all of that has been kind of eliminated with the new calendar. So it makes it really, really different. The good news is we have a lot of people on our staff with deep ties in Texas and also do a great job of recruiting those kids once they got here. And so the reception so far has been positive. And I think once those players come here and have an incredible experience being a part of our football program and going to school at the University of Arizona, we're going to be able to get more. They're going to go home and tell those players about their experience here and the value of playing for this program and the value of being a part of this team. And I think that's going to help us bring more high-quality players from the state here.
Coach, you mentioned Gio and Easy are probably coming mid-year. How important is that now for guys to be here in January, and how early do you have to start having those conversations with kids? I mean, is that almost like when you start recruiting, it's like, well, look, if you want to come here, we'd like you to come in January, or are kids already in the mindset that they want to be here in January?
Yeah, you just answered your question. Yeah, a lot of the players have already done the work necessary to put themselves in a position to matriculate mid-year their senior year. And I think it's a catch-22. I think there's benefit to that because they basically have a full 8 months with Coach Carroll and our strength and conditioning staff and their spring practice. Like, they are more physically ready to play as freshmen. They're also, you know, acclimated academically, which I think there's also like extreme value in that, because for a lot of the young people that show up, you know, in June or July, and then all of a sudden the season hits and school starts, you know, they're really drinking out of a fire hose that first season. And I think one part of their life can get turned upside down. Sometimes it's academics, sometimes it's football. But so having that time here, being able to enroll in the mid-year, I do think it is really beneficial. I'm also a little bit old school. I think there's benefit to going to your senior prom. I think there's benefit to second semester senior year, right? I mean, everybody smiled in the room right there. Everybody just remembered the second semester of their senior year of high school and how magical that time in your life was. So I can see both benefits to both things. I will say, though, of the young people that are going to join us at the mid-year in this recruiting class, we are all very excited about them coming.
Hi, 2 questions per usual. Of the 20 players who've been announced so far, do you know how many are coming in mid-year?
What is that number, Geiska? 5.
5? Okay.
Yep.
And then secondarily, what can you tell us about Zach Siulepa and how you found him and how he came to become a Wildcat?
So you notice the size and the length of this young man, right? And I think that's part of it. Is we looked at this class and with the defensive line, just kind of adding people to that we think can impact the team right now. And Zach is one of those guys. And that was started from our recruiting staff and also from a relationship from Coach Carter. And there's so much of that, the relationship thing with high school and junior college coaches, right? If we do right by a player, you know, I've been doing this for, I don't know, 28 years, right? Like Coach Akina's been doing it for a little bit longer, right? But like people are going to trust sending players to Duane Akina or trust sending players to Alonzo Carter or trust sending them to me, provided I did a good job with the ones they sent before. And so that's how Zach worked out because there's been some trust built there. And I think that's got to be a hallmark of an absolute hallmark of our recruiting process also, because we are starting to recruit in some new areas. But the good news is we have people on staff that have been in those places before and have a good track record in those places before. And I think that will lead to more quality players coming to the U of A.
All right, that is the head coach. We'll get back to more of Brent Brennan's press conference today, talking about the signing class of 2025, talking about some of the kids that are coming in early to the program. Gio Richardson, one of those kids from up at Basha High School in the Valley. All right, we'll get a break in here. We'll get Cricket's traffic and come back with more DK on the Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290. Cricket getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. Collisions reported at Oracle and Hardy, La Cholla and Curtis, Keno Parkway at I-10 and also Prince, and Flowing Wells and Prince Road. Widening work continuing on Grant Road east of Country Club to east of Alvernon Way, where travel's down to 1 lane. And for your weather, 46 and clear overnight, sunny, 74 tomorrow, and 68 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline nasal spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-511-4545. 800-511-4545. 800-511-4545.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group.
Hey homeowners, are you ready to chill out and go green? Goodfellas Air Conditioning can help. Introducing our latest lineup of energy-efficient systems featuring the new R32 refrigerant. It's cooler, greener, and better for the planet. You'll enjoy lower energy bills and a smaller carbon footprint. Not a fan of change? Goodfellas has a surplus of reliable R410 systems available. Unsure about what system you have or have questions? Give us a call for a free inspection. Goodfellas Air Conditioning, keeping it cool, keeping it green, and always keeping you comfortable.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text TIP to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text TIP to 321-321. That's TIP to 321-321.
If you're suffering from back pain and your physician is giving you a back brace or a pain pill or an injection and not explain the process of what you have and how to rehabilitate yourself, then there might be something missing. I'm Tom Corey. I'm a physiatrist here at Desert Sky Spine and Pain. If you're looking to find the root cause of your pain, any pain that's limiting your function, limiting the things that you want to do in life, call us at 520-229-2080 or find us on the web at desertskymedicine.com.
Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Always trust the big guy. Mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair at coolwillies.com. Cool Willie's is proud to be a partner of the University of Arizona Wildcats radio broadcast. 2 powerful teams working hard for you to get the job done right every day. Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Big enough to help, small enough to care. Remember to mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair. CoolWillies.com.
We are the Veterans Health Administration, and our hands provide life-changing care to over 9 million veterans across more than 1,200 facilities nationwide. Join hands with us to make an impact in your community. Learn more at vacareers.va.gov.
This is Zach Gelb with Sports Minute, sponsored by TGL, presented by SoFi, beginning on January 7th on ESPN. Keep up, it's golf. And the first TGL event for Tiger Woods' team will be on January 14th at 7 p.m. Eastern. As for the next time we can see Tiger back on the PGA Tour, the 15-time major champion said that he's got a long ways to go, but he still has the fire burning inside of him to compete. And whenever Tiger returns to professional golf, I'll be watching, but unfortunately I can't expect anything out of him anymore. I'm Zach Gelb.
Welcome to TGL, presented by SoFi. Golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer-dropping, overtime forcing, playoffs on the line golf. Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com and tune into the inaugural season beginning January 7th. Keep up, it's golf.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes at Homes for Our Troops. And thanks to our donors and supporters, this life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290. And now, the best thing you will hear all day.
Hachi-machi!
It's time for the Wildcat Radio Replay. In case you missed this earlier in the day, we now bring you the best of 1290. It's made possible by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
All right, National Signing Day for high school football players. The Wildcats inking right around 21 players today. Currently ranked 53rd overall in the nation, 11th in the Big 12. Let's hear more of the head coach, Brent Brennan, who spoke today on campus at a press conference about this class and the state of his program moving forward.
2 questions also.
Let's go.
Is there an estimate of how many new scholarship players you expect to bring in, whether it's high school guys or portal or?
I would say there's a little bit not, because the retention piece is still ongoing, and the portal has not officially opened here or opened in college football, and so some of that will become a little bit more clear over the next month, and then you'll also have the post-spring practice portal, right? So, I think this is the nature of college football now, and everybody is working their tails off to find the best way forward with all the new rules and the new adjustments, but some of it you're learning on the fly because none of it is cookie cutter. Right, you might have high level retention, you might have low level retention, but you still have to fill out those spots. And so those are things that people have to figure out as they move through it. And it's different to every program.
And that kind of leads into my next question, not just you, but coaches throughout the country. How do you balance the pressure to win now versus wanting to develop high school players and mix that with the portal? Like, how do you address the balance between the two?
I think that's hard. And I think we all know that we are in a result-oriented business. And that's just the nature of what we've chosen to do with our lives. But there's also a part that building consistent winning football programs, there is a time element, there's a culture element, and there's a talent element, right? And you have to invest heavily into all 3 of those things to get the results you want on the field.
As far as the in-state guys go, what do you like about the handful of guys that you brought in?
Well, that's always going to be such an important thing for us, recruiting the state of Arizona. And having recruited down here over the years, some of my previous stops, every time, the more time I spend down here, the more I'm impressed with the quality of high school football in this state. There's extremely well-coached teams, so there's high caliber competition, and then there's high level talent. And so we're excited about these kids that are coming to join us, and I think as we continue to build our program here, as we continue to find ways to get better and improve and have success at the University of Arizona and build relationships with these high school coaches, they're going to be excited about sending their players here because they know they're going to have a good experience their players are going to have a good experience playing for us here at the U of A.
Then you have one running back, Wesley Yarbrough. What's his story, and what can you tell us about the player that he is?
You should ask Coach Carter about him. But this is an awesome young man. When you guys meet him, you guys are going to love the energy of these players when you meet them, just like how excited they are about coming to Arizona, how excited they are about playing college football. But Wesley is a guy who tripped us in the spring. He runs with power. He's got speed, and he ran all over everybody this fall. I think he rushed for 1,700 yards. He was a player of the year in their district, and we feel like we're adding a guy that can be a real game changer for us.
And are you able to comment on the quarterbacks?
I can comment on Luke.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, we're excited. Again, the emphasis on recruiting the state of Arizona to get the highest rated quarterback in this class in state is a big thing for us. And he's an athletic kid. He's a big time basketball player. He's an early enrollee, which we're excited about. And so for us to be able to get that done, he came here and worked out for us in the spring at camp, did a great job. And we've been building that relationship over the last, 6-7 months. And so we're excited about him coming. He's been down to a bunch of games this week. He comes from a great family. And the only thing that's going to be hard for him enrolling early is he's going to miss the basketball season. And I think he's like 4 points away from scoring 2,000 points or something. He's a really good basketball player. So we got a bunch of hoopers coming in, man. I think the intramurals better watch out.
Two questions, because that's what we do. The first one, what do you make of the schedule that college football has created, where the signing day is in early December, just a few days after the season ends, and then the portal opens. And meanwhile, many teams' seasons are still going.
Right. I think everybody is doing the best they can trying to figure out how to make it all work with the moving pieces. For years they've been talking about, forever it was just the signing day was the first Wednesday in February, and that's what we all lived off of, right? But it was, for many people in many institutions, I think that was a little bit of a waste of time and resources, because if I had a player committed, I was going to see him 3 weeks in December, and then another 3 weeks in January to make sure that he was still committed. You know what I mean? So that somebody couldn't swoop in there. And so it was really, really time intensive, even though the kid's like, Coach, I'm good, And if you had the earlier signing date like we do now, that would have been done. And you could have moved on to whatever you're trying to get done next with your program. The early signing date, moving it from the 15th or mid-December to the 4th, I think is a good thing. There's been conversation of moving it into the spring or the summer or before the season. And I've heard mixed reviews. I think, you ask 1,000 people their opinion, you'll get 1,000 different opinions on it, which is probably some of the challenge of trying to get the best way forward with what we're doing. There's been so much conversations from head coaches, administrators, presidents, the NCAA, trying to find the best schedule to make it just the most efficient and effective schedule for the game of college football. And a lot of it is, I think, you learn or trial and error, right? You're like, hey, that didn't work. That was good. That wasn't good. And so everybody's trying to find the best way forward. And there's a lot of smart people working really, really hard to get that done so that it is good for everybody, from the recruits all the way to everybody at the university.
Sure. The other question is, how much, when you're putting your recruiting board together, are you looking at traits such as length, height, speed, etc.?
That's a huge part of it for us. There's a baseline for us that we want to make sure that we identify, like high school football players. We are looking for smart, tough, love football. Smart, tough, love football. And so that needs to come with the 6'7", 350-pound frame of Zach, right? Like, he needs to love it, right? Because if he doesn't love it, he's not going to love practicing every day, and he's not going to love the weight room. And so just identifying those kind of intangibles, smart, tough, love football, is really part of our evaluation process. And with the amount of time we spend talking to coaches, talking to the kids, talking to their teammates, talking to other coaches in the area, right? And then spending time with them in the evaluation process, whether they're coming on campus for a camp. Lots of time when we have a player to camp, we're trying to find out, does he love it? Is he taking every rep? Is he competing? Right, that kind of thing. But the length, the speed, all that stuff, we're looking for high-level players, and they have to have those things for us to be a high-level program in the Big 12.
Are you able to say what number you have as far as the amount of revenue share available for your team this year?
I'm not, but I'll tell you this, our athletics director has been awesome in that space. She's super aggressive, and there's so many people that have helped us get to this signing date today. You know, Rachel Blunt, Phil Mabin, there's such a different signing day, right? Because all of a sudden you didn't just have your traditional NLI, all right, national letter of intent, that got eliminated, right? You actually had your financial aid agreement, and then you had some version of the revenue conversation. So there's multiple contracts for everybody to figure out. And when you're dealing with players with different representation, that representation might have different issues with how contracts are written or how it reads, or right, all those things. So like the people were incredible, and Desiree has been awesome giving us, we're gonna have the support we need to build the kind of championship program we want to build.
Coach, a lot of us watched Deshaun Hinton on the youth fields here in Tucson. I can remember one day he took a kickback for a touchdown and it was called for a penalty, lined up and did it again back to back. Well, what do you see in that young man?
It's really neat because I was a graduate assistant when his dad was playing here, which just gives you all a little bit of an idea how old I am. But it's also cool because Coach Akina coached his dad. And so obviously having some history with the family. The thing I love about him is he's explosive on both sides of the ball, and he plays with an edge and a toughness that I think we're going to like when he lines up for us here.
That was the Wildcat Radio Replay with the best of the best from 1290. It's brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
All right, the head coach, Brent Brennan, we are expected to hear from him again tomorrow. A little bit more on the dynamics of the coaching staff moving forward. We'll carry that press conference for you live. Depending on what time it is, we'll let you know. So stay with us all day tomorrow for that. Thanks to Seth Polanski from the AIA for joining us, as well as Robbie Russo from the Roadrunners for Cricket, J-Dub, and Dragon Ball. I'm David Kelly. That's our time for tonight. Thank you very much for your time. We'll talk to you tomorrow. DK on the Sports Tip, 3 o'clock, right here. You're listening to Wildcats Radio, 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. With a collision reported, new wreck reported 22nd and Cold Road and 22nd Street. Also in the foothills, Sunrise Drive near Craycroft on Sunrise Drive to the west of Craycroft. Improvements have started along Tucson Boulevard between 6th Street and Grant Road. 46 and clear skies overnight, sunny 74 tomorrow and a 66 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather.
This report is sponsored by PayPal.
This season, the PayPal app has amazingly low prices for holiday shopping. Get exclusive cashback offers in the app. And with the PayPal debit card, PayPal stacks 5% more in the monthly category of your choosing on up to $1,000 in purchases. Don't just pay. PayPal.
You know the joke, why is Christmas like your job? You do all the work and the fat guy with the suit gets all the credit. We understand. That's why you might need a new sleigh. And you can do it right now during the Red Tag Sale.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Nothing can prepare you for the epic return of Yellowstone. Sundays at 8, only on Paramount Network. And Philo's here to take you on the ultimate journey back to the Dutton Ranch. That's right, because Philo's the most affordable way.